हेलो। लेकिन अभी ये वीडियो
हाँ
क्यों गया? ओके।
हाँ
दिख रही हूँ।
हाँ, वीडियो ऑफ कर दो और बोलो मैं बता बैठ बोला प्रॉपर आ रहा है अभी हमको। हाँ ओके।
साउंड आ रहा है मेरा?
चल रहा है वो, मीटिंग चल रहा है। किसी को ये भी बताया मैंने कि एफडीपी कैसे निकालता मैं सिखाता
Salvo padre.
అమ్మో నీళ్ళు పోతున్నాయి అమ్మో మళ్ళీ ఇయ్యే వద్దు అది ప్లాస్టిక్ కాదు అది కూడా గ్లాస్ అందుకే
Hello. Hello. Good evening, Jen.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, Vandana ma'am.
Yes,
Jen sir has joined. Shall we start the session?
I think so. We wait for 2 minutes, then we start.
Okay.
Hello, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Jayant, you are audible.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Sujata ma'am, please initiate the session.
Second one, वही था ना slide show. हाँ. Am I visible, ma'am? Hello.
Yes. But
Ma'am, am I audible?
screen is not visible, Sujata ma'am.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, Sujata, it is visible. Please initiate fast.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I, Professor Sujata Kamune, today's session coordinator, welcomes you all to day 3 of AICTE ATAL Faculty Development Program on AI-driven educational technologies for enhanced teaching and learning. This evening, we begin with session 5, which will focus on centering educators and students in AI implementations. Before starting the session, let me introduce you with the speaker for today's session, Mr. Jayant Sripati. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Jayant Sripati, a seasoned expert with over 12 years of rich experience in leading data engineering initiatives and driving modern AI and ML implementation projects. His extensive expertise spans software development, big data, traditional data science, and cutting-edge technologies such as generative AI and large language models, LLMs. With a deep proficiency in cloud data warehousing and programming languages like Java, Python, he takes a comprehensive and innovative approach to delivering impactful solutions. His works embodies the fusion of technical excellence and forward-thinking strategies, making him a leader in the ever-evolving technology landscapes. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jayant Sripati as he shares his insights and expertise with us today. Mr. Sripati, we are honored to have you with us this evening. I welcome you, sir. Now we look forward to your session, which will explore how educators and students can be at the center of AI-driven transformations. The stage is yours, sir. Thank you all.
Yep. Thank you, Sujata ma'am. I'm extremely honored, first of all, to be here, to come back to the college, which provided me so much. Today where I am is because of the learning which I received and from the esteemed professors and teachers. So, and the topic which was endowed upon me is very close to my heart. That is education and learning. And as we all know, being part of any working profession nowadays, we have to continuously learn and growth. So, without a further ado, I'll start with my presentation. Let me share my screen. Ma'am, I'm not able to share my screen. Is it it's coming as a disabled? Can anyone enable it for me?
No. Sir, you can share your screen now.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Okay, I'll start with my presentation. Okay, yep. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to speak. So, centering educators and students in AI implementation. So the best quote I can think about is the bridging innovation and education in AI. So, once again, yeah. So, and just to give you a brief overview, why it is very important. As you know, we are in the edge where because of the Gen AI development and implementation of large language models, the AI implementation has bridged all the domains of not just education, but in every field of the education, whether it's a traditional way of teaching or whether it's online learning or personalized content learning. So in this session, we'll touch base with all those topics. So I'm going to cover these many topics within this presentation. So with what actually this session is all about, and what are the roles for teachers and professor, especially in the AI. And also I'll touch base with tools which are currently widely used in the market with institutes, premier institutes, and all the such institutes like Canvas and Blackboard. Specifically the learning management systems from traditional to the AI implementation part of it. And also I'll touch base some case studies with examples. and what are the challenges and considerations while implementing this infrastructure for any institute or for any individual learner like a student or a teacher, and also what are the future directions with the use of AI. So here I'll touch base the modern practices which we as currently being in the industry which we follow, and QA session is something I believe you can stop me in the middle if you think if you have any question or any concerns that you want to ask. So please feel free. It's not that we have to wait till the end. So let's start with the session. So, okay, so I'll give you the brief overview of AI in education and the purpose of this session. So basically, AI was there very a long time back as well, but we used to look them as a particular as part of our job only, but not in our day-to-day practices. But since the advent of Gen AI or the modern Web 3.0 implementations, this has penetrated all the domains of the education, or even the domains of your day-to-day activities, whether you go and you do shopping, or whether you day-to-day transact with using your UPI or digital payment industry. All this data, wherever this from source to destination, this transaction is happening. AI, some or the other systems have built a platform to curate this data set for the to increase the efficiency, and to also decrease the fraud related to, or I won't use the word fraud that stick to domain of payment industry, but to also to stop the loopholes within the system, like if somebody is trying to target education databases of the students or things like that. So this session will delve into all those things. And now coming to the overview, as we all know, AI is the core, uh, is a basic, the combination of machine learning, natural language processing, and computer vision, and a combination of all this to make a system understand and recognize the pattern, like a human does, and that too not just in a limited time frame, but also to understand the huge amount of data and to take a decision on their own, is nothing but, in simple terms, we can say a machine learning or an AI capable system. So then there are multiple subdivisions of it. I think you are already aware, as we are, as educators and students, we day to day we read about what machine learning is and what deep learning, supervised, unsupervised. These are just the different branches, but the end goal is to make sure how efficiently a system takes a decision on its own, and how accurately it predicts situations or scenarios. So the advent of Gen AI, the difference is Gen AI is a generative model, as compared to traditional machine learning or data science practices. In traditional machine learning or data science practices, there is a classification or decision making capability is involved. But here in Gen AI, there is a generative capability is added on top of it, using the same implementation of machine learning and AI. So like text to text generation, or text to image generation, or text to video generation, these kind of things. And the combination of these two gives us so many use cases. And also one of the use cases is in education, as the personalized learnings. And also uh, when I say personalized learning, I mean to say, let's say earlier when we were, studying in the colleges, or professors were teaching to us, I was taught on Java 2.0 version. And now in the industry, if you see, the latest version of Java is around 21 point something, even 22 came into the picture, and 23 is again being in development. But in industry wise, in our own organization, we have migrated from Java 8 to Java 17 now. So this kind of rapid migration and changes and new features implementation happens. So why the migration background I have given is because a student, when now entering into the college, the colleges have strict guidelines to follow from UGC guideline that this course material has to be taught to students. That they have to maintain that level of quality. But again, the industry, when the student completes the college and when they enter into the job market, they see there is a huge gap between what they have been taught and what they have been currently being used in the industry. So this is where personalized learning in AI can help grow up, even professor, teachers, or also individual students. And when I say individual students, all the students, and they have their different, inclination towards learning. Some wants to learn the front end technologies. Some wants to learn the DevOps side of things, like automation and infra side of things. Some wants to learn the design side of things within the front end learning. There are very subdomains within that, and how that learning can be curated. And also with the current bandwidth for each professor, it is very difficult for them to address all 60 or 120 students in a single batch, to give them each personalized learning. This is where AI is very crucial. Like a student can give their feedback to each professor and institute, and then institute, based upon their learnings, they can curate subject wise learning for each student, and where the input is not just taken from the student but also the feedback from the professors as well. So this happens in the learning management system, but we'll touch base upon that on the later slides. And also the most useful case is the automated of administrative task. When I say, teachers don't have to just teach, as part of their day-to-day activities. They have to manage multiple aspects as per the institute. Is anybody has any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So when I say administrative task, that they have to maintain the attendance sheet, and they have to maintain a institute has to maintain the class structure, or plan the class structure and practicals and everything. So but teachers may know this better, and these kind of things can be automated, like daily attendance tracking, and also the conducting quizzes from topic to topic, or subject to subject. So these kind of things can be automated, where teacher then can focus on improving the learning aspect to their students, and students that can focus on the aspects of learning from the teachers, rather than not depending on waiting when the timetable will be published. With this, the digital age, you can notify to each student that this is the time, as we all transgressed from the pandemic time. So I was not part of the college at that point of time, but I know from my known people that what struggles students and teachers have to take. So everyone has struggled from that, and rapidly adapted and evolved from that phase. And that is what our proper learning is, and that can be automated with the help of AI, where students and teachers can focus, and it online can be intimated when the schedule is changed, and when the quizzes will be allotted, or when test will be conducted, these kind of things. Also, when I say, this is part of engagement in a way with students, and student doesn't have to go in person to meet their professor or institute. From their remote location, they can gather the information, and they can collect the details when they have to come to college, and when they have to attend for practicals. So this saves a huge amount of time, which they can focus on their learning and productive activities. Also, the other part is accessibility and inclusion. So this is very major part. So when I say accessibility, that means any AI implementation or any learning management tool which is adopted by college or students should be accessible with the your existing current devices or infra. You should not be using any on top of additional devices to set up the whole infra to just to implement the AI for learning management systems or any other tool to manage the activities. So when I say uh, accessibility, whether it's a WhatsApp notification or email notification or SMS notification, automated generated notification systems, where teachers will be sending continuous notifications to students in a secure way, so that only the enrolled student for that subject will notify and will get to know the subject, that this is the schedule or this is the quiz timing and whatnot. So inclusion, when I say inclusion is part of, it should be fair and it should not be biased. Like when implementing this kind of solution. So AI, there is a lot of discussion going on in industry about the ethics of AI. I will touch base on that part as well, few things. So, and we'll discuss few of the real use cases where ethics norms were violated and how the organization has adopted a way to challenge them and a way to address them. So now, coming to the when this all transaction or notification and schedule and feedback and engagement is happening between students and teachers and with teachers and the institute and with institute and the students. So there's always a data is generated, the transaction data is getting generated, and that gives a very good insights which can be used for further enhancing the engagement with the students. And teachers can take the feedback from students that they like certain part of the area of teaching and they don't like certain parts of the area of teaching or course material, like they want these new materials to be included, then whether it is approved or not, or apart from the UGC grant or your course curriculum, these new topics needs to be added, so that will be helpful for teachers and students as well to be in trend with the current market. So now, so far, any questions, anyone? Okay, I
No,
think,
sir.
yeah, I think silence has no. Thank you. So now coming to the purpose of this session. So why this matters for more for educators and students? As this is very critical for each, not just students or I won't like segregate them as a students or teachers or educators or students, but I'll say, let's say in person. So any person now dealing with any day-to-day activities, there is some behind the scenes AI analysis is going on, whether you are in social media or not, or whether you are day-to-day doing any transaction with your debit card or any transaction with banks. There is some kind of analysis going on. So you have your digital footprint available on the web. So to understand this technologies and to use that to improve the education part of it, this is where this particular session will talk about, and not just about the AI part, but also to enhance, the personalized or tailored learning aspect of it, and making sure not just use of AI, but we have to make sure the ethical and responsible use of AI. And the first thing for a student and for any person is, whenever they get that first-hand information, that's where they make the base of that information. If let's say teacher, if knowing or unknowingly giving wrong information, then for all the student that will be the first hand information, and they have to base their analysis based upon that information. They have to build their information base based upon that first hand information. So this is where ensuring ethical and responsible of use of AI comes into the picture. So the earlier point which I touched based upon is bias mitigation. Like it should not be biased for any based upon gender, caste, or race. So the use of AI should be equally treating all the students and respective teachers based upon the rules as per their day-to-day activities. So that is very critical and crucial point. Now the outcome of this is like when you have enhanced experience of education and ethical use of implementation of AI, that fosters a trust among students and teachers. And even in earlier days, we used to, where when we used to apply for any colleges, we used to get information from one of the seniors from the college who is studying or who completed their degree. So they used to give us the feedback: this college is good for this subject, this college is good for this particular domain. But the use of AI, individual can take their own decision based upon the outcome of this. So that's where fostering collaboration and trust among institutes with teachers and their students, and also students among teachers, is very crucial in that case. And addressing diverse needs. So now coming into understanding a diverse need of this, when I say diversing needs of each individual, is not their personal needs, is the needs about their learning and education. So the example which I given, like now you are studying in a college, and after completing your college, you see the market trend has changed. So during my tenure, when I started working in the industry, mostly the on-prem data warehouse solutions were very crucial for delivering business solutions. But now all the on-prem solution have moved to cloud. So and past 5 years or 10 years, not just cloud, the cloud has enabled the adaptation of Gen AI. Is The outcome of that is to adopt Gen AI kind of tools in day-to-day learning or activity has increased. Like we don't have to wait for any organization to let them set up the whole environment or do some licensing. Now you can take the subscription. Even whether you are working or a non-working professional, you can take a subscription of any AI available tool, and you can start your own productive work with that, whether it's for learning purpose, whether it's for building a product, or whether it's for only doing research work as well. So this cumulative thing improves the educational outcomes, like more rigorous auditing of the students. Large number of students will get personalized attention, and that can be tracked by teachers, knowing that the so and so student completed so and so assignment on a so and so deadlines, and what is the trend for that, and how that can be improved. What is the a loophole where the student needs further personal attention, and teachers also needs to improve their engagement aspect of it. They don't have to sit at one location. They can engage with using the tools with large amount of students in the limited amount of time. So okay, so as I discussed so far about the purpose and understanding. So just to give you the insights about how AI use cases in education is currently implemented, and how the demographic of things look like in the market. Mostly data-driven insight is the first thing which you see around 10%, and student engagement around 25%. And if you see the personalized learning, it's a very big chunk. So it around 30% of it. When I say 30% of it, means the demand for each students, and even a teacher is a student when they are learning something new on day-to-day basis. So there are so many online learning tools available, like Udemy or Coursera kind of tools, where the courses are provided, individual can go and learn. And the same way, if you see, the personalized learning factor is all about the choices that you make, that where you want to learn and what kind of learning style is referred for each student. Some like to learn, traditional using textbooks and all. I still, if I don't read a book, or if I don't understand a concept from a book, it is very difficult for me as an individual to grasp it from any web or any web URL or any the blog or any learning management tool, because since my school days, we are used to reading information from books, so that habit is still there. But now if you ask a student, they'll just open their smartphone and they will just read a blog and they will just try to implement that solution. So even in our when I'm working in the industry, I see the new freshers who join, they never refer book, so they only refer the blog, or they only refer the implementation provided in some tutorial or some learning management or some Stack Overflow. Then they implement it right away. So this is the, that's how the dynamics of learning and engagement has changed. So any questions on this so far? Anything?
See, the issue is about giving assignments. Does it have any effect now? Because students can generate assignments and write it.
Exactly. So yeah, I'll give you a first-hand example of me myself. I'm still doing my MTech, and we also get assignments. But there is one thing is, now people can use the chat GPT or any tool. So whatever assignment you give, they can, completely do a write-up, and then they can write it down and they can present it. But at the end of the day, that is not, when the time comes during any assessment or any review in your job market or any exam you are giving, this you are very, if people may think that they are smart to do this in short time, in limited amount of time, but that will not be productive in your regular exams, or when real life exams comes into the picture, like any interview or viva or anything. So yeah, that's why we try to in our offices as well, we try to give practical assignments where now they can use the tools as well, but just to improve their efficiency. But they cannot bypass certain steps or loopholes, which in traditional education system, the assignments, they can do it. Like if I ask them to write linear regression, some program, and to understand, give me the understanding which way they are doing, a chat GPT will give you within a second, it will give you an answer. But during the implementation part, we implement the practical aspect of it. Individual has to implement it, and that practical aspect has to be implemented as part of assignment. So does that answer your question?
Partly it answers, but how do we as teachers assess such students, And many of them are like, we have more information on the web, but less knowledge with students. How do we
Yeah.
bridge this gap?
So there is a one tool, one mechanism, or one stopgap solution is to do the plagiarism test, check whether each student with other student, their assignment is matching or not, and or to give them individual based assignments, which is very cumbersome, and to even to do the analysis on it for teachers, it is very time consuming process. So giving different scenarios, or dividing scenarios for one assignment and dividing among students, so that they can brainstorm individually and it will not match the assignment with other students in that way. So plagiarism check is very important here, I feel, which will not solve the problem altogether, but it will still better than not addressing that.
But plagiarism is very expensive. Not every college will be able to afford.
Exactly. So that's why as an institute, or I mean, this kind of things where this is where the accessibility point which I was discussing comes into the picture. So I think there are still online open source tools are available, but it's again the takeaway is whether you want to share your personal information in a web or which is outside the domain of institute to use those tools to check these kind of things, or you want to compromise in this area. So that is up to it's very like institute to institute based decision, and where money is involved, these kind of things comes into the picture, how many students are going to use it and how much regular use it is going to have. So there is a trade is there, but definitely in the future there will be enhancement in that. And I think in learning management tools, it has to be part of package rather than a separate tool altogether. That's what I believe as of now. But yeah, I mean, cost is one of the major hurdle to cross in that one. Any other questions?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is AI affecting students' original brain or original intelligence, original creativity?
Yes, I feel so. I mean, if you talk about my personal opinion, yes, I feel. And because we used to, do some brainstorm before,
Yes.
preparing, even doing our assignment or even doing our day-to-day activity. Now, these automated tools are available. So with just click of instructions, steps are generated, and individual has to follow that step, which, hampers their analytical ability, which I feel that analytical ability is very crucial in our core development and our logic development part of it. When I stepped out of college, we were used to given, during interviews that, write this string manipulation code. They don't want to see the whole code, but they just wanted to see the logic, how we are able to implement it, whether we have learned that code, or whether we are, if some parameters are changed, are we able to manipulate it or not, or adjust our logic or algorithm as per questions asked or not. But now that part, which I believe is again is compromised, for which individual has to emphasize more on, their core analytical ability, but use this part where they have, limited amount of time to deliver a product or solution. So that's where I feel, for learning aspect at least, the core concepts has to be done, so that where brainstorming is done more, and that will, the best use of AI will be when, with the good analytical ability and the good, you use AI as a supporting tool, not as the core tool for your day-to-day activities. So yes, it
Thank you.
definitely hampers in, if you ask my personal opinion.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now coming to the role of the educators in AI. So I'll first of all will discuss about the empowering teachers to make sure that they reach out to large number of students in limited amount of time, and share the feedback and concerns for each student, and also their individual professional development. And apart from the professional development, not just from the learning from the side of thing, but also imparting the uh, quality. As at the end of the day, we are humans. If you ask a person to work for 8 hours continuous a day, that's fine. But if, say, tomorrow the strength of students is increased, but if professors are limited, in that case, where, burden comes onto the uh, teachers and institute side of things, how they can manage, where they can compromise, or how much delay can be that is acceptable in imparting the education for any lecture or anything. And also I'll touch base on the ethical considerations of the things, So now coming to the teacher environment. So when I started working with any machine learning or AI tool in my day-to-day activity, the first thing as I see is as how it can increase my productivity. But there are still some part of thing where we as a human, as an individual, we have to take decision where like we have to quickly uh, inform the students about, like, for example, grading and assessment side of things and attendance tracking. Like this is something that can be automated, which I feel, rather than individually students when there is some concerns about their marks or something that can be addressed. But as a AI tool based upon teachers' experience and their information feedback, they can assess and grade each students whenever the quiz, or they can even design the quiz using learning management system now, rather than just give the uh, uh, limited set of questions. So that is again coming back to the assignment side of things. Individual assignments can be defined in different scenarios where you can collect it for like there are 60 students, you give different scenarios for the same kind of assignment, and this all process can be automated using current learning management tools which are available in the market. And coming to the personalized professional development side of things, nevertheless to say, uh, uh, teachers and professors know very well what is the current challenge you face while imparting your current knowledge to the students. From a student side of things, the feedback mechanism which used to happen, like for them when they come to class and then they impart their education, and then last 10 minutes some students, they are not very vocal in the classroom. It is just by their social behavior or anxiety, I will say. So that will restrict them to voice their opinion. This is where AI tool can help them to voice their opinion on feedback, and also that should be uh, uh, communicated, and teachers can take that feedback collectively, rather than a set of one group of people speaking in the class in that way. And mentoring part is also I'm nevertheless much I cannot say on this topic, as you individually are very well versed in imparting that. I've been considerate enough during my college days that I used to bug my teachers, like I remember Vandana madam, Archana Nete madam, and now if Mani madam is there, that they know very well how much I used to bug them for even small amount of things, or if any random questions are there. So, but this cannot be, we have to keep in mind, students have to keep in mind that teachers are not, available around a certain part of time, because that time is dedicated to some other activity. So that where virtual mentoring can come into the picture. From your own location, you can guide students rather than in-person discussions, which saves a lots of amount of time and improve your activities during productive activities. Now, like differentiated instructions, when I say this, if a teacher is teaching a subject, like let's say Java, but within Java, from the industry standpoint of point of view, we see as a backend profile, we see as a strictly uh, 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 application development side of things, and we see one is the area of automation side of things. How this how this gap can be bridged, first thing, and how a teacher can understand this feedback from the market and then impart or create a learning profile for their students. And then it's up to the students whether they want to take it or not, and what feedback they give, and based upon that, that can be improved upon. So that's where grouping of uh, uh, individual students. Now when I say grouping of individual students, it's not just limited to their branch. When I say today, in today's date, the AI is in autonomous vehicles, It is there in your spacecrafts. All the sensors and transducers which collect the data with the help of IoT is then again plugged into the cloud computing platforms for curated data analysis. So this cannot be done just with a computer branch or IT branch or MCA student. This requires the knowledge of whole platform of how a vehicle is designed or created, what kind of engine and where that can be assembled. So this for this kind of things, even the universities have done extensive amount of research and come up with the courses just related to this curated subject kind of things. Even now, the use of AI is any institute, any location in India nowadays, or any professor or any student can, with the help of this curated learning, can impart as part of their education, even if it is not, impart of a regular curriculum. The curriculum courses are there, but on top of it, to bridge the gap with the industry, which I feel it is very empowering with the help of AI. That's where the AI can curate the content with the help of Gen AI or LLMs, which are available in the market now. And as of now, as the implementation of LLMs are very large scale, so it is the more the user base, the cost is also getting down, and implementation is also accessible. So which I feel very empowering for each individual. So now coming to the feedback and support. So in our time, there was like traditional methods being followed. Like we go to the college, we give the quiz or assignments, and then we were graded on it, like what is the quality of the assignment. And as the sir pointed out, like students now do assignments quickly. In our time also, some students used to copy from other students, but again that also required time and analysis. But here the assignments can be individually curated, or group a group with based upon each group can be assigned different assignments, and then guardrails can be kept whether these assignments are being generated with the proper instructions or not. And I feel personally to give them assignments on the practical assignments of things and not just the theory side of things, because with the current tools and implementation, theoretical assignments are very quickly to do, but some practical implementation will require a huge amount of analysis and time from each individual. And similar way, promoting student engagements in a modern way to understand their concerns and need. Like everyone has individual learning capacity and capability, so they have to go with that pace for each student. And when and each student wants to learn certain topics or subject upfront and want to focus on other areas later on the semester when semester comes to end. So these things can be curated during the using the learning management student, that which will empower teachers as well to manage the engagement with students. So one second. Yeah. So quickly, I'll keep in the same, continuing the professional development and ethical consideration side of things. Now, with the use of this rapid implementation of the AI comes the concerns of, it comes with ethical concerns as well, like data privacy and security and bias and fairness, which I touched based upon earlier. So when I say data privacy and security, like each student data has to be secured and should not be shared with for any marketing or any unauthorized purposes. When I say unauthorized purposes, like if student data is released in the open web, or their practicals assignments are released, so the next batch of students can quickly copy that assignments and submit it, knowing this is the curriculum is followed. So in that way, institutes and teachers has to be vigilant to make sure that their data is very properly secured, and teachers are not sharing their individual credentials with each other, so that each teachers have their own access to their own curated materials. That's where data privacy and security plays a big part on it. And now, if by implementing this gives us a platform for each individual, that brings the outcome of it brings environment of confidence and competence, I would say. Like, you are improving the side of education and learning in limited amount of time, but also you are expecting quality from the students. So and how much grasping ability is there, that can be it's a matter of subjective discussion. So but making sure the content is available for students and teachers to learn and take it from what that content as per their individual capacity is what the best use of this learning management tool with the help of AI can deliver. And also, as I don't need to mention, teachers are lifelong learners, and even the profession which we have chosen, we have to learn in every day. Every day there is a new tool, and this part of AI brings into that part and plays a pivotal role in excelling student. Now, if you learn one concept, even today, when we assess some new, we take interviews or we go and do interviews, we are assessed on core data structure questions, which is no amount of AI or no amount of implementation or smartness can uh, proceed you to help you brainstorm your own logic which you have developed from around 10 or 12 years. That is where analytical logic development is improved. When I started, I'll give you my example. When I started taking interviews or giving interviews, I was being asked about the standard set of questions, like how to connect to database, how we can connect to store procedures, these kind of things. These are very standard set of questions. Now the question is from the design and architecture point of view, and how efficiently we can run the program on a limited hardware resources. What are the design aspects and considerations of things. So this is where that deep dive into a particular subject or topic, that's where the AI can help speed up a learning or for each teachers and students. So with this, I'd say staying curious and innovative in learning and grasping the understandings with the help of AI. That is the best way to move forward for both teachers and students, but it's up to individual as well. So that's what the empowerment gives, AI capability gives. Like, you can give feedback to the system, and the system will learn based upon your feedback, and it will compare the feedback from other professors and other students. They may also be facing the same challenge, but somehow one of the practitioner of this implementation, they might have implemented a solution which given them a good feedback, so that can be taken as a reference, and that's where the machine learnings or AI implementation comes into the picture, to making it widespread available from the others expertise as well. So now, yeah, transparency and addressing. So addressing digital divide. So this is my question to everyone. Can you give me, when I say digital divide, what does it mean in very simple terms? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Digital divide is basically in the same institution or in the same organization, there are different kind of people. Some set of people that are far ahead of time or current, where at the same time there are some people who are behind the time by 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, and that creates problem in the organization to have synergy, and that affects the customers, whether they are students or others. So that is basically digital divide, which ultimately the customer or the students are the sufferers because of that divide.
Exactly, sir. You have touched the core point at node, which I was about to talk. And as you mentioned, in the same way, is the relevancy of that topic. Like as you mentioned, some people are ahead of the time and some people are behind the learning curve. So to bring the synergy among them is very crucial. That is where with the help of AI, with their individual personalized learning, we can curate them. Individual professor can assess them, saying, okay, so and so people are very good at their foundational skills, so they can be taught directly on the advanced levels of skill set. So please pitch in if I'm in sync with what you have said, because this is where, as a country as a whole, even you mentioned at the education and institute level, but even within a family or within our society or within at a country as a whole, there is a huge digital divide. So any tool or any learning management system which adopted by institute has to be addressing these concerns.
I agree 100%, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, so yeah. So ethical use of education and enforcing policies that implement the ethical use of AI in education. When I say ethical use, there are a lot of things comes into the picture. Like digital divide is one of the factor, but also how equally and transparently the education is being imparted to each individual, and whether the individuals are taking accountability. And it in this case, institute and teachers are the primary imparters of the learning, so they have very huge responsibility on their hand to make sure that they are accountable for imparting the good education, and that is available to each and every person. So now coming to the next set of slides. So I'll discuss few of the
Sir,
most widely. Yes,
sorry
yes,
to
yes.
interrupt. Just small question. When you mentioned about transparency,
Mhm.
would you like to throw light on the applicability of blockchain in educational services?
Applicability of blockchain in education services. So yeah, it's very tricky one, but the blockchain by default, the core components in the blockchain in the current market, they are being utilized as a transaction, one way of transaction to authorized, without the involvement of third party. So how securely you can do this? But uh, from my experience, I've never worked, or just to give you, like, I've never worked in any blockchain tool. But yeah, as an awareness point of view, what I believe is the advent of this quantum computing will change these dynamics and will have a very big impact on the implementation of blockchain. And when you say the education part of thing, how what is the outcome that you believe, like from teachers to student transaction, or when I say transaction, means their connection and their role which they perform on day-to-day basis. Like student takes admission into the college, that is kind of a transaction from the database side of things, and that's where the one set of transaction within the block of record comes into the picture. But how that can be utilized, that is a very altogether subjective question. But
Yeah,
does
it's a
that
tricky.
answer like your means? I'm not an expert in that, but I try to answer as much
Yeah, you
based upon
answered
my own answer.
nicely. You answered nicely, starting saying that it is very tricky. So thank
Yeah,
you very much. You have given really very good answer, sir. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And now coming to the tools in the educators and students. So there is more popular learning management tools are Canvas and Blackboard. And the features, I'll discuss touch base on the features of this. So we already discussed about the what learning management tools can do, personalized learning and whatnot. But what are the features available for each educators, as a from the teacher side of things and also from the students side of things. So now, before going into that part, so look at the demographics of how traditional education metrics versus the AI assisted education metrics helps in. So these are the 5 factors like error detection, efficiency, speed, accuracy, and refactoring. So when I say refactoring, it's not just a code or your program refactoring. When I say refactoring, it comes with the whole process refactoring. So I'm talking about here. So if you see in traditional systems where you have, even that is traditional system were available 5 years or 10 years back as well, but they were not AI assisted. So now with the advent of AI assistant, with the implementation of AI, the increase in efficiency, if you can see the percentage wise in each field. So this just for representation purpose, I've shown this for you. So the how AI has rapidly improved the factors in imparting education and continuous learning for each individual. So now coming to the one second, yeah. So coming to the features for the educator side of things, if you see, uh, when I say automated grading, earlier when teacher used to assess the grading, they have to manually go and check for each papers and each for each student, which was a very time consuming process. Now with the AI help of AI, they can students can upload their assignments and that can be graded automatically by the tool itself. Teachers just have to provide the rules and instructions to that tool, how that has to be graded, whether the steps are been done or not, like solution is done with 2 or 3 steps, or they have detailed stepped or not. And for stepwise analysis, these rules can be imparted in the grading. And course analytics, when I say, it means how many students are taking that course. Are they just completing that course? Let's say there is a course you have availed for student and it is for 30 minutes, but student is completing within 5 minutes. He's clicking next, and he's finishing that. And this kind of analysis can be done, and those kind of students can be targeted or try to curate, saying whether are they unhappy with the course content or they want some additional practical steps to be added within that course to get it completed. So let's say if there is a course content where you are imparting some knowledge and then there is a quiz. So again, the student will not spend much time of learning, but they will start directly giving quiz if other students have given it. So how this can be addressed? So these details can be taken from the course analytics side of things. And content recommendation is, again, the traditional AI use cases were mainly recommendation systems. Even now you go and purchase any tool from Amazon or Flipkart, you get the n number of tools suggestions from the list, like saying these are the recommended purchases the other user has done. So this will be useful for you as well. So same way in the AI as well, for based upon the student profile, whether a student is well versed in foundational skills, whether he is not aware of the foundational skills at all, and he wants to learn interest in advanced analytics or advanced concepts, the content of the course can be curated for each student. And professors and teachers have that authority to, and institutes have that authority to make that as per the guidelines. Definitely, this has to be done as per the guidelines of UGC or AICTE or governing body, definitely. So now coming from the student side of things, so personalized learning, which we discussed earlier. So personalized learning, like if I am, since I started my uh, career as a Java programmer, then I transitioned into data engineering side of things, big data, and then now I'm currently working with data engineering plus a little bit of Gen AI and traditional data sciences. So this is where personalized learnings come into the picture. today for me learning, I want content to be more, in advanced analytics or in advanced courses, not the foundational side of things. But the same way, if a student coming from a different background, when I say student, not just a traditional student who is completing their graduation or intermediate, but also our industry experts who wants to learn certain computing courses as well. So they are coming from some other background, let's say from accounting or from medical background. For example, like I am doing my MTech now, and I see around 20 plus students are from medical background. So either they are doctors or they are medical practitioners. So for them, the course content is different. And for us, course content is different. So this is where learning management system helps curated learning. So in imparting the education as well for each student. Now, interactive content, when I say, uh, when we are engaging with the content of any education or any institute, for that matter, it has to be bi-directional. It should not be just, there is a video and it's been presented and students have to learn. It should be a bi-directional. And with the help of virtual assistants, like certain interactive content, like you put an assignment there and you see whether there is an implementation or that assignment is completed. And based upon that, each outcome for each students will be a different one. If you think of this 10 years back, this would have been a very difficult scenario. But now with the event of AI and Gen AI, the predicting this kind of scenario is very rapid and fast paced. So even the content generation for each curated learning is very good, and it has improved a lot. So that's at the end of the note, I would say it helps in empowering and enabling each students to learn the content as per their pace, and also to make sure they fall into the guideline of institutional governing principles as well for both students and teachers. So with this, like I'll touch base few case studies and examples which are widely like used in the earlier implementation of AI. Like for example, Carnage Learning used AI powered math tutoring using cognitive tutor, that is their tool name. And Georgia State University in US also uses a tool called Pounce as an AI chatbot where students can give their feedback and converse with professor or institute for any queries or automated tasks. And University of Murcia also have a personalized learning, like their tool name is Adaptive Hypermedia Systems. You can go and Google and search this for awareness purpose. These are the uh, early implementation of AI tools in the when it was not a generic uh, implementation altogether worldwide, but they have adapted this kind of implementations quite a long time back. So key takeaways and lessons. So for each teacher, for their curriculum as well as we part of an education system, we have to be stay updated with the current market trends. So that is where this learning management system helps. And you can create a student centric design uh, with ethical considerations in mind, with all governing principles and data security and privacy in place. I'll touch base on data security and privacy part as well, which is very core. Without that, there is no point on discussing AI, which I personally feel. And making sure accessibility and availability is the key takeaway for this, or for any institute or for any teachers to impart AI in their day-to-day or deliver their lessons using the AI as a day-to-day productive tool. Any questions so far?
Sir, one question is there. In slide number 10, you mentioned about the grading system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Features for educators, automated grading system. And as you know, in all technical educational institutes which are under AICTE or even under UGC also, there is something called COPO mapping, and it's a mapping with PEOs, and a number of things are there. So when we say that hyper-personalized learning paths for different students, how do we basically manage the challenge related to these COs, POs, defining COs and POs and POs, especially COs and POs? And so what is your call on that? Because there can be different COs, different POs for different students as such, even though the course is same.
Okay, so can you emphasize more on COs and POs because
course objectives and program objectives.
Oh, okay.
So course objective means individual subject, whereas program objective means that particular program. Say for example, it is BE Computer Science or BTech IT or BTech C Data Science and AI and Data Science and those kinds of things. So even though the student is course is same, which is program is same. Program is BTech AI and DS. Within that course, say for example machine learning or any other thing, and within that students they are having varied backgrounds. So we require different course objectives for different students, even though the course is same.
Yeah, so now see, as you mentioned, I also mentioned one part is we have to be implementing this in the framework of the governing principles. So this, I use the word governing principles, but you summarized as COs and POs. But yeah, I mean, we have to keep that in mind. There can be hyper personalized. Yes, there has to be a limit somewhere. I mean, even imparting, because let's say even if you do hyper personalized, and even if there are COs and POs are in place for each type of hyper personalized requirement from each student, but that can be grasped by the student whether the outcome will be achievable. Like let's say if I am teaching 12 subjects in 1 year, that doesn't make sense. Rather than I will focus 5 core subjects or 4 core subjects per year, and so that students can pick their choices from there and make sure that the list of tools for each subjects have been added. Like for example, let's say automation will have a testing part separate, and or day-to-day activities or implementation of DevOps part is separate. So within automation, whether you want to again go deeper tool wise, or you want to go again deeper by process wise, so that till what level that can be imparted in a curriculum, that decision again institute and teachers has to take collaboratively. Because an institute can declare that we will declare 100 subjects in a year, but and students will have wide range of profiles to select from, but whether they have capability to uh, when I say capability means accountability for tracking whether each student is performing well for that particular course or not, or whether that is following the guidelines of your course objectives or not. So again, there has to be some limitation there.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I fully agree. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question? I had some other voice as well. Okay. So I'll move forward now. So now we'll discuss on the challenges and considerations part of in imparting AI in our day-to-day activities. So what does this chart tells you? You can see in the red side, we have traditional systems. And then in the blue, we have AI powered systems. So when I say data breaches, these are data breaches like not just, when I say data privacy and security, it's not the individual responsibility of an teacher or institute, or a student. It is the individual responsibility of each and every person involved in that particular institution or in that particular program, whether it's even your course registrar or anyone, because everyone is holding some perspective of information, and they have to make sure that that information is delivered with the certain destination with the proper access mechanism only. So this is where AI can close down that loops and create a system where teachers and students and even institutes can engage with their day-to-day activities without impacting, uh, without hampering the data, or without making sure the content of the course or is impacted in any way in that manner. So that this is one of the biggest challenge, like security wise. So in order to prevent that and safeguard this information, still we know education and everyone has to stay vigilant on day-to-day basis. Like we cannot share our personal information or misplace our Aadhaar. That is also, if it is misplaced, then we have to report it. So this is based upon the individual responsibility side of things. But from the regulatory compliance side of things, currently in the worldwide, if you see, I've listed on few regulations which is again being discussed. GDPR, especially in the EU. But nowadays, what happens is it doesn't mean it is available or applicable only in the EU region. When we are working with any entity, like let's say today this institute ties up with any institute in the Europe, then they also falls under this GDPR compliance. So we cannot say we are in India and we are working with them, but we stay in this GDPR rule doesn't apply to us. And we can use the data as per our convenience. It's not like that. We have to follow regulatory and legal compliances. And also some a similar way, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act in USA, which is similar in the guidelines of the GDPR. And we have in our India in 2000 implemented Information Technology Act, that is to protect and uphold the digital information, is the sole responsible of the entity or organization and the individual person. If they are if you have created any social media account, that you are accepting that norms, so you fall under that category, that you are allowing that your details to be allowed to be used for organizations marketing policies. So again, the personal data protection bill, it was proposed in 2000, but there was a lot of debate happened. I think this might be uh, if anyone knows about more on this, is very subjective, and some opposed it, some wants to be change the direction of it. So there is a huge discussion happened and it was withdrawn. And now we have Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is not yet implemented. Still, the discussion is still going on, and it is currently being in a discussion phase. If anybody wants to add in, they have any information or background information on these or any other regulatory compliances from the university guideline perspective point of view, please pitch in. This is very crucial, so that each and every individual as a professor and students are aware, and make sure their students are also aware of this. Anyone? Anyone have any questions so far on this? So far what we have discussed? Otherwise, I'll move forward.
Yes, Jen. Sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Nobody is having questions, so you move on.
Yeah. So now, yeah, continuing with the we discussed about the data privacy and security aspect of it, and regulatory and compliance aspect of it. Now, how we can, what prevention mechanism we can keep in place. So one of the critical factor of data breaches is preventing the cyber attacks. So education and teachers and information make sure that they follow certain compliance, like they cannot share their personal education information on social media platforms, and if they are sharing it, whether it falls under the AICTE and UGC university guidelines or not, or institutes guidelines or not. If that is allowed, then that's fine. But if you are unknowingly or knowingly sharing this kind of information, that can be utilized for unethical purposes. And those are the most social media data is the primary cause for major data breaches and cyber attacks. Even organizations, just to give you industry example, last year we have Snowflake data breach attack, which in as a practitioner, which I firsthand worked with the tool for around 8 hours, we were not able to access that tool. Reason being is, for one region of that, it's hosted in Azure cloud region. So the attack was on the Azure cloud of Microsoft side of things. But since Snowflake was hosted on top of Azure, it was also impacted. And not just my organization as a one customer for that tool. There are hundreds of Fortune 500 organization were impacted for that particular 8 to 12 hours when they resolve that issue. So this is just one of the example at the high level, but at same, if the university data is breached, so it will make the course content available. If you are making your course content available for free, then that is also a certain sort of a data breach attack. So we have to make sure there are security access mechanism are in place, and also accountability of each student and teachers and institute as a stakeholder to prevent that. Like if they are not sharing their passwords, or let's say if one professor is busy with some activity and he or she wants to want other professor to use their credential to access the content, so that make sure they have completed certain tasks which were assigned to them, that is also a breach of unethical use of data. So now coming to how we can prevent that. So ethical use of data is one important thing, is informed consent. Whenever we are creating any Gmail or any email ID or any social media account, we sign a consent saying that we are allowing our this name to be used as a digital footprint for organizational purpose. They may use it for improving their purposes, but that consent we definitely sign, otherwise we cannot create it. So same way, we have to take consent from students and their teachers, and also their guardians or parents as well. What data is being collected, and also data protecting the student autonomy. So that is also a critical aspect of this. When I say autonomy, means you are not accidentally making sure the each individual scores of the students is not displayed to other students, or as a professor or teacher, if you are created a course content and there is an answer key, like you have declared a quiz to be conducted within this 12 to 1 p.m. and but accidentally you display the answer key as well. So that is also kind of unethical use of data and losing control over your data. So these kind of things. So far, any questions on this? So, okay. So data minimization also, there is one point I mentioned here. When I say data minimization means we as a student or as a institute or as a professor, we are collecting only necessary information from the student, which is required to enroll them for that course or for that admission or for that branch. Apart from that, the irrelevant information as part of a curriculum should not be collected at all. So in simpler terms, data minimization refers to that only. So for that enrollment, you need only like their intermediate or their graduation mark sheet, and not apart from that any other details like what is their choices of beliefs and all this kind of personal information. So that's where data minimization comes into the picture. So, and this is earlier it was undocumented, but since the GDPR and IT Information Act and this regulatory compliance, every organization, every entity where they have a digital footprint, they have to make sure these things are in place, and students are given options, and professors are given options to choose to opt out, or to make sure this is being followed. So now best practices is the strong security measures, definitely encryption, access control, or multi-factor authentication. When you are logging into a LMS, make sure there is a in case password access is there or email ID access is there, there should be a mechanism to retrieve that in case the email ID is lost or something. These kind of practices should be in place. This is very straightforward. I hope you understand that. And another important point is foster a culture of privacy. When I say foster culture of privacy, privacy by design, it means to make sure each department, each professor, or each student are engaged in their respective activities without making sure it is uh, unintentionally or intentionally available in the platform for other entity or teacher or professor to gain access to that their data. So that's where culture of privacy comes into the picture. And the more feedback, the tools are designed in a way to prevent this. Nowadays, still there are, as part of information gathering for improvement or efficiency purposes, still the data is being gathered by the systems, but to make sure they are gathered till that point of time only and not being used for any other purposes. So data anonymization or data masking, these kind of things are necessary to prevent threats. Yeah, now I'll touch base on the bias and fairness part of this as we are coming close to an end. So very critical and very important. So I'll just give you one real life use case. So Amazon in a few years back, they started a recruitment system where they implemented a AI-based recruitment system where their bot used to collect or curate the resumes which they used to get from the online or through email ID or through references, to curate that and then suggest to different departments for their interview purposes. And what the interesting thing they found out was it was only referring the male candidates and it was ignoring female candidates resumes. So that system was a biased system in that way. And when they got to know this, they had to shut down that system. So it never went live. So before that only they have to shut that system down. So they started that to make sure they can improve their recruitment process, but it turned out to be a biased system. So then they reworked on it and they completely closed and overall their program for recruitment. So this is just one example, but there are lots of cases like this where biased data or biased algorithm or interaction bias, these are the three main factors. When I say data bias, when we are developing any solution or implementing any AI solution, we need to make sure we collect samples from all the different categories, not just from one particular category. That is when I say data bias. When we say that I'm only taking sample and building my AI system, then it will give me outcome in that sample data only, and it will reject any outcome which I have not collected from my sample. So this is very crucial to know. And also algorithm and interaction bias in generic, the algorithm which is you are building, make sure it is covering all the aspects of the data or all the aspects of the solution which you are trying to implement. If you are implementing just for the sake of, I want to collect the data and produce the result, it may, take a decisive decision where it may not take it may filter out certain information which also necessary to train the data. So these kind of the major biases are there that has to be handled. And coming to the fairness side of things, that the user should be treated equitably. Like for example, one teacher or one department or one student should not be given due advantage while imparting education, or making sure that they have given all the information necessary. Like in traditional, when we go to colleges, we used to ask questions, so it feels like other students are not gaining the knowledge. It doesn't happen like that. So that is where the fair AI systems should be in place to trust and promote to build trust and promote inclusivity. So in AI algorithms, the whatever the algorithm which are implemented even now today, there's still a huge subjective discussion goes on, because some bias are still not even identified yet. So that's where we have to keep an open mind. This is the recurring process. This is not one-time solution implementation, like you have taken this LMS system or AI system and it will work for next 5 or 10 years. No, it's not like that. Every time continuous feedback, continuous representation of data, like diverse and representation of data from all backgrounds, and fairness in algorithm implementation, and transparency, we already explained it. And there is a new within the Gen AI subdomain, there is explainability.ai is another concept, which is again some organizations have implemented it. That is where how this process works. So in Gen AI implementation, there is a issue of hallucination. I'm not sure if you have heard this topic or not. If anyone, then please pitch in. uh, Hallucination is the process where content is generating false data based upon fake information which is not there from any collected samples data. So while implementing solution, we have to keep a guardrails on these kind of things to make sure we are not uh, implementing unfair system, or unaudited, unfiltered system. So these things we have to keep in mind. And regular audits, each student, they have to share their feedback. Each teacher, they have to share their feedback saying that this is the outcome of my learning analytics. I'm getting, every time I'm getting this same outcome. Even students are giving these assignments on these different objectives, but how that can be improved. So that feedback is very crucial to improve the process of algo AI implementation. So now I'm in touch base with the future direction and modern coding practices. So this topic is more was on a I covered so much on a theoretical side of things, but I will now discuss few of the practical side of implementation, which I also in my day-to-day activities, which I do, and not just we do, we were told to do as well, because we have a limited working timings where we have to produce first time right code into a production. That is the motto of nowadays all the organization. Like Gen AI is not just used for information gathering, but we were told to use in our day-to-day improvement of our code review. Instead of getting our code review done by any peer developer, we can use AI as our peer review tool. So whenever I'm writing a code using VS Studio Code, I can implement or use a plugin as an extension as a Copilot or Blackbox.ai or ChatGPT, and then I can analyze my code right altogether. And also one important thing is it checks for the plagiarism code as well. Like I am not accidentally using any authorized code which was supposed to used. So, and similarly, static code analysis, SonarQube is the one of the tool which is there in around 10-15 years back as well, which used to do static analysis of your Java or any other code. But they have also implemented AI behind the scenes to understand they are checking based upon the current market trends. Now you can generate automated test use cases But again, I tested the automated test use cases, but it generates let's say if you're given a function name for a student class to check whether what use cases I can implement. So this generated use cases will give you student 1, 2, 3, 4, like that generic name it will give. But still, because the system is still being learning on how to develop the code. So we have to, again, in person is required. The human intervention is required there to make sure that the test case is named accordingly, not we are using as it is, which is generated by the AI tool. So if you see NLP for our documentation purpose, and AI-driven security analysis is again a new where DevOps is changed to DevSecOps. When I say development, security, and operations all together. And there is also a lot of analysis is being done to see the scenario where their data can be breached or where the system will be failed. So this kind of they mimic the scenario there to make sure their system is 100% uptime and running. And with that, I say I'll conclude my session. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Mm, I think we are over a few minutes. Thanks for patiently listening to me. And if you have any feedback or any questions, please feel free to discuss.
Yes, participants, if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Ethics are very difficult to frame. I
Yeah.
don't have much experience on that, as how ethics will be framed and how far it is going to be adhered to. We have
Yeah.
no control, right?
Right. And it is a
Yes, sir.
continuous process. That's all we
Yeah.
can say. I mean, if you would develop a ethic for this quarter, let's say for 6 months, again, there will be a new entity or new scenario will come into the picture, which again, we have to redesign or how to integrate that. So keeping that in mind, it should be an iterative process.
And it's also like nowadays people are using this very much to write review papers in research.
Exactly.
A
So
lot of
even,
things
yeah,
which AI is helping, but you are not an expert, but you can pretend to be an expert. Like I don't know chess, but I can play chess very.
exactly. So even if see, recently there was a paper published by ChatGPT OpenAI team to the US government saying they will have a dedicated AI agents which will do research and development work for their so they don't have to depend on human resources. This tool will help, and human government will be in control of that tool. So to come to your point, it's like giving control to human to go beyond their limits. That's how they are marketing it. But what will be the outcome? Time will tell.
Voice is breaking.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah. Sometimes it's breaking.
Yeah. So what I was referring is there was a proposal submitted by OpenAI's team, the ChatGPT the organization, to the governments in the US, saying that they will have a dedicated AI agents that will do research and development work for them in any field and area. So it's like giving control to the people out of their expertise, and they are marketing this as that way, but we'll see how the outcome will be like.
Very tough situation, I mean. But there is a lot of talk going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether AI is supportive or is it going to replace? But
No.
definitely, I
So
think in Hollywood and many other places, they have replaced film industry experts who write the dialogues, who do the makeup for the heroes and heroines,
exactly.
the
Yeah.
actors. So I think
Yeah.
it might reduce the teaching staff. That's what I have a feeling. It may not entirely remove, because
So
teachers may be there as
I see there is
mentors.
a two. Yeah. I see there is a two side of this coin. One is traditional way of working or jobs will go obsolete, but again there will be a jobs which will be again created due to AI as well. There is also a niche market, like now there is a more advancement done in the past 2 years in the quantum computing area as well, which will again change the dynamics or landscape of our traditional computing systems. So I feel every technology has pros and cons, and it's up to us as a human what we take it from it. I mean, definitely there will be a way of working. It's like again the discussion, like machine comes into the picture, and what will happen now. There was also a scares that work will go away, but again it created a new jobs market as well. So I think we can hope for the best in that scenario.
Good evening, sir. I am Professor Saravana Kumar. I have a question. Sir, I have seen some people telling in the social media that using AI, they are able to predict the stocks in the share market, which will go up, which will come down, and exactly they can do 30 to 40% profit every day. Is it possible, sir, through AI to predict the?
Yeah, so up to some extent, I will say yes, it is possible. But
Okay.
again, so traditional, see, when I say stock market prediction is not just now, being done since 5 to 6 years back as well. And the current stock market analyst, they use the statistical methods as well in their day-to-day activities to read the graph, to understand the pattern from
based on the past data.
past data, exactly.
Yes, sir.
And what AI will help is to predict the scenarios in what factors this market can go down, and they can bet on that particular area, or what industry can move forward. Like if you see currently the Bharat Mobility Expo is going on, and there is a huge bunch of electric mobility vehicles are there in display. So this tells us a picture that in automobile sector there will be huge investment which is done in the past few years is now coming to fruition. And then the outcome is people have to have multiple choices where they have to go and invest it. So it's again come to individual, like there are some tools which are not just the individual but organization for their algorithmic trading at institutional level. They use these principles to predict the factors where if a country stops the trade with another country, what will be the impact of these goods and products. Or if certain federal banks of particular countries, let's say US or in India Central Bank, they decide to change in the percentage rate, then what goods and factors will implement. But this is again were done by the statisticians earlier as well, but now the common person can also, with the help of tool, can do that. So the accessibility factor is there, but how accurate it will be, that is again a questionable topic.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any further questions? Are there any AI-based platform where teachers can upload daily case study materials? Additionally, if possible for a teacher to create personalized platform or AI model exclusive. So as of now, I think Shahrukh, yeah. So as of now, I won't say any industry level there is such tool, but yeah, as part of your personalized content, you can use content generation tool to curate your own material and upload it in the platform. And again, if you want to upload in within your LMS system, or there is a ad hoc available, like Canvas also provides it, but that has to follow into your course objectives or the university or institute guidelines. So I hope this answers your question. Any further questions? I thought there will be more discussion on the compliance and regulation side of things, especially from teachers side of things. So because as an industry practitioner, I'm not aware of the university guidelines or regulations, but yeah, there are few organization or in countries there is a for education purpose they have different guidelines, and for in general public they have different guidelines.
Anyway, this is Dr. Naveed. I am from Nasik, Malegaon district.
Hi, sir.
I did my PhD from IIT Mumbai, and I have been in IT industry for 14 years.
Oh, great.
Before I moved to teaching. So, see, like the future is we cannot predict too much ahead of time what will happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so dynamic situation. I had to change through so many softwares to stay in the market.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can understand and resonance with what you are saying, because in my current day-to-day activity as well, we were told to start with one tool, and then suddenly new guidelines come from the organization side of things saying we have to adapt to this tool now, and and any migration or anything
I think same
that
thing with
impacts.
teachers now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Teachers also have to adapt to things which we can't predict too much ahead. Maybe another year or two, after 2 years, where we will be headed, we can't be sure now, right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think in future robots may be taking classes in the universities.
Sir, this is Dr. Sushma Murli from NDIM.
Yes.
Sir,
Please.
I just wanted to tell you, I mean, we have experienced this LMS platform. One of the, book publishers had given us this LMS platform, but it was a complete failure with our students because they really didn't use it too well, and the learning was not actually happening.
Oh, okay.
So I really don't know how LMS platforms can be used by colleges, because then the students are free to do it at their home, right? And they always fudge their answers. They all combine together and do the work. There is never an honest work done on the LMS platform by the students.
Yes, I completely agree with that. But I'll give you my example. I cannot speak for others. I am currently doing my MTech from Pilani, and they use this Canvas tool. So for other activities like quizzes, assignments, and even paper submissions, we use that tool. But for the education imparting education, they still give us the online classes where they conduct our classes. And also, if we have any particular special request or need, we have to submit that request in the Canvas. And if that they have that limitation, like for particular request, certain students count should be there, or percentage should be agreed. Then they will avail the facility or facilitator or teacher to make sure that dedicatedly they can take this. So again, yeah, there is a trade-offs. But what I feel is the assignments which were given to me individually, like there was some practical implementation which cannot be skipped. We have to go and we have to submit and we have to generate outcome, and then we have to submit it. Then it will proceed with the next step. So this kind of things made sure, and also there is a guideline with deadlines as well with that assignments, that you have to complete this in a particular time, otherwise you can't you will not be proceed with the next assignment, and if you don't proceed next assignment, your grades will be impacted. So things are linked, so it's like you are linking outcome one outcome to another to make sure you are keeping track of it. Yeah, again, in person we cannot track it, but when we come into platform, we have to utilize platform in that way to come up with a
I think
creative solution.
for monitoring it's okay, but to depend completely on LMS, I think especially with students who are very young, For matured people, it may work, but LMS is very difficult with students.
Yeah. So in no way I'm saying let's completely depend on LMS. If that's been portrayed, then that's
No,
not
so
my.
you didn't say, but
Yeah.
I'm just telling that why we discuss. Although we are only using it partially,
Exactly.
we were not
Yeah.
using it completely also. But then it just didn't work with us, and we had to discontinue it because we felt it's a waste of money.
Exactly.
For
I
us,
mean,
at
yeah, I
least.
mean, you're purchasing that license, and if you're not able to get the outcome, that it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So I completely agree with what you are saying, and
Yeah.
if it doesn't help us to grow, and the core factor to grow and learn and to
Yeah. If the skill sets
efficiently,
are not being imparted,
yeah,
whatever may be the reason, I think there's no point in having it.
exactly, yes,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
yeah,
Hello, Jayan.
yes, yeah.
Our next speaker is already joined. So
Oh,
will
okay.
you please share your mail ID so the participant will ask their queries on the mail.
Yeah, I'm sending my mail ID.
Okay.
Yeah. Please feel to reach out with any questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this is very interesting discussion. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can we take attendance by the using AI or QR code?
Yes, we can, but you have to make sure you have to develop that mechanism. Like, what is your current system? If LMS is providing you, that's fine. If not, then see in LMS there is a you have to do certain activities to do that. But here you have to come up with your own tool. Like in some
Hello.
organization, they use the thumb and this as well to check the assignments. Sorry, to attendance as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all. Thank you, Jayan sir. So, participants, if you still have any doubts, you can send it in the mail. Sir has already shared the mail ID with you. So now for the vote of thanks, sir, it's an honor to express our gratitude to Mr. Shripati for such an enlightening and thought-provoking session on centering educators and students in AI implementations. So before that, let us have a short learning recap for the session 5. What we learn in this session, Mr. Shripati emphasized why educators and students must be at the core of AI adoption in education. We gained valuable insights into how AI enhances productivity, making teaching and learning more efficient and impactful. A crucial point discussed by Mr. Shripati was the ethical use of AI, ensuring fairness, transparency, and trust in educational environments. Also, he has addressed the digital device, highlighting the need for including AI-driven education. Additionally, Sir has also introduced us with the AI tools like LMS and their features for educators, such as automated grading, course analytics, and content recommendations. He compared traditional and AI-assisted coding metrics and explored AI-driven features for students, including personalized learning paths, interactive content, and virtual assistants. He also discussed some of the AI tools, AI-powered code generation tools with us. Moreover, Mr. Shripati explained how AI can increase productivity by automating tasks in educations like attendance marking system, then assessments, virtual mentoring, and real-time feedbacks. Furthermore, Mr. Shripati shed light on critical issues such as data bias, algorithmic bias, and interaction bias, emphasizing how these biases can affect AI-driven decision-making in education. He stressed the importance of developing fair and unbiased AI system to ensure equitable learning opportunities for all the students. So on behalf of everyone present here, I extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Shripati for sharing his expertise and sparking meaningful conversations on the future of AI in education. Sir, we will certainly apply these insights while ensuring they complement and not replace the students' learning skills. So thank you so much once again. And we truly appreciate the way you address the participants' doubts with such clarity and depth. So once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sujata ma'am. It was a wonderful experience for me to interact with such esteemed professors and experts in their respective domains. And it is very n- uh, enlightening for me as well while going through this domain to understand and my own journey and to see where we are. And we look forward with the great hope. And thanks again for providing me opportunity to speak in front of extreme guests. Thanks once again.
Thank you, sir. So participants, don't forget to join the next session we are already late. It will start at 8 p.m. sharp. So don't forget to join for the next session on advancing equity through AI enhanced learning tools with Professor Rajendra Sonar sir from IIT Bombay. Thank you, sir. We will start very soon. So, good evening, everyone, once again. So I hope you are excited for the next session on for this session 6 of AICTE ATAL Faculty Development Program on AI-driven educational technologies for enhanced teaching and learning. The session theme, this session's theme is advancing equity through AI-enhanced learning tools. The session will explore how AI can be harnessed to bridge gaps and promote inclusivity in learning. So before starting the session, let me introduce with the speaker for this session. We are privileged to have with us Professor Rajendra Sonar sir, a distinguished professor.
Sorry to
Hello.
interrupt you. Introduction has been done already on the first day. You can skip that, right?
Okay, sir. So we will start directly. We can start directly.
Just give,
Okay.
I think I will just share my.
Okay. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, let me check whether I have just one. I'll just stop sharing. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, shall we begin or wait for some time? Or I think we get started. It's already late.
We can start, sir. Participants are already there.
Okay, so I'll just keep my video off for a, anyway, people can concentrate on this. Okay, so any questions on, previous sessions? So one of the things when I was hearing as a question and answer, Some of the this is a little bit confidential, but I would like just to proctor how people are proctoring. This is from one of the session I conducted at IIM Indore. And typically, what these people are trying to do, like this is a assessment of one of the candidate. And typically, what these people do, they continuously monitor. So if you just go down the line, okay, just keep it confidential. So here the camera continuously monitors, and then based on the this one, it actually assigns some credibility score. That means if you are not continuously watching in front of camera, and you are looking here and there, so it continuously monitors. So one of the things whether student can cheat during the exam, so people are trying to figure out, especially those who are on online education, how to make exam more foolproof, this one. Okay. And so I think especially online education, offline education, I don't think that's much required, because as a professors, we do invigilation job, and we keep track of students, what they are doing, or whether they are doing some malpractices or something. Okay. So any questions so far? Like last lecture, what I talked about, one of the video I was just trying to make it like, somebody asked me like whether synthetic data. So I have just put some, links now. So I can just copy those links and just play some. This is very interesting. It will tell you what's happening in the AI revolution and how NVIDIA is powering, this.
It's never too late to lose weight, and these insoles will help you start on the right path. Have you heard about Akasoli? These are the cutting-edge orthopedic insoles that people look forward to using. Yes, orthopedic insoles are beneficial.
I will just put on another browser. A lot of advertisements coming in.
The ultimate recipe for profitable Facebook ads. It is 1% luck.
Okay, I'll just show you some part of it.
CES 2025 kicked off with a bang, and from day one, it's clear we're witnessing a massive leap in AI and tech that's reshaping everything: personal devices, gaming, cars, robotics, even how industries operate. Las Vegas is buzzing with over 4,500 exhibitors from around the world, and AI is the star of the show. The scale is mind-blowing. 232,000 square meters packed with groundbreaking tech that's taking innovation to a whole new level. And honestly, NVIDIA is stealing the spotlight. Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO, walked onto that stage, and you could tell something big was coming. His keynote wasn't just another presentation, it felt like a preview of the future. NVIDIA's new GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs were front and center, and they're built
If
on
you
the black.
look at the statistics, it has 92 billion transistors, on the one, this one. So it is, you can
Architecture, which is already being talked about as a game changer. The specs alone are wild. The flagship RTX 5090 has 92 billion transistors and can handle 3,352 trillion AI operations per second. To put that into perspective, this isn't just better, it's a whole new level of performance that makes even the current top-tier GPUs look slow. The real surprise, however, was the pricing of the RTX 5070. Priced at $549, this GPU delivers performance that rivals or even surpasses the RTX 4090, which was previously seen as a powerhouse. Offering that kind of power at such an accessible price point is practically unheard of. But it's not just about raw performance. NVIDIA's new DLSS4, Deep Learning Super Sampling, elevates AI-powered rendering by generating 3 additional frames for every 1 frame the GPU renders. This results in smoother gameplay, enhanced detail, and significantly reduced system strain. And while gamers will undoubtedly benefit, this technology goes far beyond gaming, with applications in industries like architecture, filmmaking, and beyond. But NVIDIA didn't stop there. They unveiled their Cosmos platform, designed to simulate the real world for training AI systems. Imagine being able to create entire virtual environments where robots and autonomous vehicles can learn how to navigate complex situations before they ever hit the real world. Training in a simulation like this saves time, money, and risk. Instead of sending a robot into a cluttered factory and hoping it doesn't crash into something expensive, developers can run thousands of virtual scenarios in minutes. Speaking of autonomous vehicles, NVIDIA's partnership with Toyota was another jaw-dropper. Toyota's upcoming vehicles will be powered by NVIDIA's Drive AGX Orin supercomputer and Drive OS operating system, making their advanced
Okay, so
driver
basically, if you look at this video, you will get to know what are the advances is happening. And one of the questions last time was the synthetic data. So now these tools are able to create a lot of real life scenario in a simulated, because you cannot say if you take a reinforcement learning, let the machines learning on their own. Okay, which is not possible in practical environment, but you can create a simulated environment. You can create a lot of scenarios, where robot can be trained and so on. So I think these tools are going to help, this one, which will actually expedite, deep learning. And you can, like, just example, you can test your autonomous car, or you can actually test on various simulated environments and so on. Okay, so I just wanted to show this. So let's come back to this one. Any questions on? Let me know, this one. So I'll be in a full screen mode. So I'll just quickly run through. I don't know the fundamentals of AIs are covered or not, but I will just run through what are the techniques which are part of AI. You might have heard about the deep learning and so on. But if you just go back, there are a lot of algorithms, knowledge-based systems, natural language processing. Because a lot of text is in natural language form. Machine learning, genetic algorithms, case-based reasoning, model-based reasoning. Again, why you need so many techniques? Because they solve a different kind of problem. Like genetic algorithms, they are based on the evolution principle. Okay, basically used for optimization kind of problem or configuration kind of problem. This one. If you see on the left hand side, Turban was one of the authors who has written a lot of books, and this is from 2011. So if you look at that, it talks about the AI tree. It covers a lot of things like machine learning, fuzzy logic, expert system, genetic algorithm, neural networks, and so on. We don't have time to go through all, but what I suggest, last time also I told, like, if you understand these technologies at a grassroots level, you can probably connect it well to your job that you are doing. As I told you, as an ecosystem in education, we have a lot of stakeholders. We have students, we have teachers, we have administrators, we have regulators, and so many people. So how you can actually leverage AI to optimize everything, to make it more efficient, to make it more productive, whether you are using through LLMs and so on. So that, just like I think somebody asked the question to previous speaker, people are using AI for stock selection, this one. So one of the good thing, it's not only mathematical calculation AI does, but it does a lot of LLM stuff. That means they can actually go into fundamentals. See, basically, when you are investing a company, and if company's reports are good, LLM can actually do. So in previous days, it was just only maths behind the stock. You can do a lot of statistical analysis, but now, LLMs can actually help you whether this particular stock is going to go do better, or what are their business reports are saying, what their board members are saying, whether they are coming with some new technology, or they are innovative company, or so on. So as I told you, like, this is mathematics plus you can have a lot of natural language stuff as a part of it. Okay, so this is complete, and these are typical problems AI solves, like classical AI problem, this one, which is like a TikTok game or chess game, this one. Then rule based system, you can have a set of rules like typical decision trees and so on. There can be a data driven problem, and in data driven problem there can be like a supervised versus unsupervised. For example, if you want to like analyze your students, whether it's going to be going good or it's not going to go good, so you can actually do classification model. A clustering model is basically segmentation. You can actually segment data into similar kind of groups and so on. Okay, so again, evolutionary computing, I already have. Reinforcement learning, something, Google started in a big way. It's like let the machines learn on their own. For example, can a machine learn to play a chess game? So it's basically, idea is like how we learn the things, like whenever we make the mistakes, we don't repeat those mistakes. So the algorithm works like that. If the algorithm is doing well, it is rewarded. If it is not doing well, it's punished. So next time algorithm remembers, like, it should not be playing this particular move or something like that. And then generative adaptive networks, called as a GAN networks. Basically, here again, You must have heard about the fake news or fake videos or something, or fake images. So basically here there are two artificial neural networks are used. See, most of the algorithms, if you see, can somebody tell me, let's look at this graph, line graph. Okay, on what basis this graph is displayed, this line is displayed? I'm talking about the 3 number, there is a red line and there are black dots. So can somebody tell me how this red line is derived?
Least
And what is
square
its
method,
equation?
LSM.
Yeah, this square methods. So basically, Dr. Naveen, is like a y is equal to mx plus c, right? That means it's a
Yeah.
linear equation. So it actually tells us what is the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. But this line is very important because it actually tries to minimize the actual difference between calculated and calculated and actual this one. So most of the neural network algorithm or ML algorithm, they try to minimize the difference between actual output and calculated output, so that less and less difference is there. That means your equation is good, this one. Okay, so if your equation is, say, not linear, it's non-linear, so something like a logarithmic or exponential, so you use different equation. But every time what that algorithm tries, it tries to minimize the difference between actual and calculated. So same concept is used in GAN network. So there are two networks. One network job is actually to create the fake thing, and another network job is to tell you how near it is to fake. And then one generator network goes on improving. Discriminator keeps telling there is a still difference, kind of this one, and they work in a tandem so that your random thing actually moves to near to like a real thing. So take an example. Suppose you have 100 rupees real note and you are creating a random images of 100 rupees note. They are not matching with the real. So generator will generate. I think there is an example. If I just show you, if it is there. Yeah. Okay, so let's take this example. So what is a generator job is to create fake 100 rupees note. Okay, and then discriminator algorithm works the similar way. It finds out what is the difference between a fake and real, and it tries to tell the generator, hey, look, the node that you have created, it's just 10% matching with the real node. Then what generator does, it improves its algorithm, and next time it creates another set of nodes which are better than the previous one. So it is again, discriminator tries to differentiate, oh, it is now matching 20%. So over the iterations, what happens, the fake node actually goes near to real node, this one. And that's how it is. Like, you must have seen some of the images, they actually move from a fake to real one, so you can see the movement. So this is like a GAN network, and it's also used for generating data also. Like, if you see, one of the issues, especially when you are using machine learning or say neural network kind of techniques, there's a lot of imbalance in the data. Like a very simple example, suppose you are using for classification. So sometimes you have, say, you are training your model on 100 data set. So it may happen like 19 data set represent one class and another 10 represent another class. So there is an imbalance. So sometimes these algorithms don't work if there is an imbalance between this one. So you can probably generate the data, which substantiate, another class, so that you can have enough samples to justify, like two classes and so on. I'll not go into again much technology details, but this is where the algorithms actually work. And these are actually problems, like generic application, optimization, prediction, clustering, pattern classification, pattern matching. There is a difference between pattern matching and pattern classification. Pattern matching is basically, a good example is your Aadhaar card. So when you push your fingerprint, it matches with your own fingerprint. While pattern classification means, like, for example, recognizing birds, recognizing animals, or recognizing the shapes. That's basically pattern classification and so on. And I think you must be knowing, like, OCR, optical character recognition. So if you write something, it can actually scan it and it can convert into, language. It's basically optical character recognition and so on. And these are like end applications. So like Japan train was actually, like the design was done through genetic algorithm. A lot of applications of genetic algorithm, because they can create a combination you can never think of. Or it's typically called as a NP hard problem. It's very difficult to come out that combination. So machines can try out a lot of combinations and come with final this one. So when you are applying artificial intelligence, I'll just quickly go through what you need to know. One is like what kind of problem you are trying to solve, whether it is a knowledge driven problem, it's a data driven problem, or it's more like evolutionary computing, like for example you are using genetic algorithm, or it's a reinforcement learning. Then you have to know like what kind of basic problem, again optimization, clustering. See, I'll not go into much technology detail, but these are like problems AI normally or ML solves. And then you have to just, based on your task, you have to select whether it's a clustering problem, forecasting problem, or association mining problem. Association mining problem, I think a typical example is a lot of people do market basket analysis. So like if I'm buying X, what is the chance I will buy Y? That means how many people buy X and Y together. So that's basically, it associates the product based on the your cart, kind of this one. There's another algorithm called collaborative filtering, which Amazon and Netflix, these people use extensively. Whenever you select a product on Amazon, it says, okay, you may like this, or people who liked also like that, this one. So that's, natural language processing, content generation, like these are LLM application. They can generate the content based on what you are specifying. Last time I showed you through, chat GPT. You just describe what kind of data schema you want and it creates it. If you want to create, say, for example, code, it creates a code for you, this one. Okay, then what are the techniques you are going to implement? Like whether you are going to use artificial neural network, logistic regression, genetic algorithms, or k-means, or whatever, next thing is what tools you are going to use, whether you want to implement through Python or R, or you are going to use some APIs or some tools like MATLAB and SAS. There are so many tools. See, this I'm talking about if you want to develop fundamental AI model, this one. If you are using just a ready to use tool, like I think, previous speaker already, then you don't need to that. But what I believe, since you are, one of the advantage teachers have, they have a lot of students with them. So you can definitely build something which is very relevant to you and you can use it, this one. Okay, then what are the final applications? It can be a customer segmentation, personalization recommendation. It can be conversational chatbots. It can be speech recognition like Siri or Alexa, or it can be face recognition. Like a good example of face recognition recently is a DG Yatra. Like I have been traveling now with DG Yatra app. You can just upload your boarding pass. You don't have to stand in a queue. There is a camera, and then camera just recognizes your face and it allows you to go. So advantage is you don't have to spend a lot of time on standing on queues. This one, you can check in can be much faster and so on. Now, what is the data format normally when you are applying AI? There can be a text data, there can be image data, there can be a video data. It can be in a structured, it can be audio and document format, right? So most difficult format to deal with for machine is a video format. Because why video format is complex? Because in one, if you look at even 1 second of video and it has 25 frames, and if it happens to be full HD video, we are talking about a 4K now. Now, even if you take simple full HD video, it has 20 to 30 frames, and each frame has a number of pixels. So the complexity of analyzing data becomes much higher in video data. The most easier data to deal with is a structured data, because you have, like in your take an example of a student database. So you have all data in a structured format. Like course database, you have in structured format. What sometimes it can be a semi-structured, like taken your LMS system has a course details, like what is the name of the course, then who are the participants in that course, what are the course curriculum, what are the learning objectives and everything. So something is structured, something is unstructured. Email is good example of semi-structured, because email has a structured, but there is no format in which you are writing an body or something like that, this one. Then what are the data sources, whether it's a sensor based data or it's a data which is collected from some source, or it is a standard data, social data, or human. So most clear data can be a sensor based data, like sensors emitting a lot of data, unless until sensor malfunctions or something. One of the data which is like a human enter, it can because humans can make mistakes sometimes. When we are writing, we make a lot of spelling mistakes, or there can be English kind of this one. Similarly, social data can be a messy data, this one. So you have to just deal with some pre-processing or something. Then what is the data type you are dealing with? Whether it's a transactional data, whether it's a conversational data. What is a transactional data? Basically, like paying the fees, or for example, UPI payment, or doing banking transaction. They're all transactional. Conversational means you are having a conversation with the call center or with your student. That's more conversation. It's like an engagement. And then you need a lot of metadata. So what is the metadata is important? Let's take a course. Now, which course is relevant to whom? If you want to connect a student based on the, say, for example, there is a 12th pass student and you have his all information available. Now, can you help him to find out whether he should be going to engineering, he should be going to commerce, or he should be going to science? And within that, suppose he wants to go to science, which science stream will make him more relevant? Is it a maths? Is it a is it a physics or something like that? So that means you need a metadata about the course. You need what are the contents in that, so can connect the student well to the this one. So similarly, if you take a very e-commerce example, if Amazon wants to show me something which is relevant to me, Amazon can study like what kind of things I like, what genre or what this one, and then connect to the metadata about the product, this one. Another data which is very important, especially in AI context, is the time data, geo data, geolocation. Like Uber, Ola, they do a lot of hyper local personalization. They know exactly where you are, and they know exactly where the car is. Or even if this car is 1 kilometer away, they know actually how long it's going to take you to that particular location. Now, this is not possible unless until you have GPS coordinators, this one. So for hyper localization, it plays very important role. Even if showing something very relevant in your vicinity. So for example, what is relevant to me? If you want to push, it may be some conference coming in Mumbai. Within that, it has to be an AI conference. Within that, suppose I'm working on a specific area, that means it becomes more relevant to me. So it's more hyper time based. Is very much important. Then contextual data. What is the contextual data? This is like something within, say, for example, a particular event is coming. So you have to have a context about that event, what this event is all about, and so on, so that you can connect the right thing to the right, this one. Then what is the problem requirement? Whether you want to solve the problem in real time or you want to defer it. Some of the problems like fraud monitoring. Suppose I'm doing a credit card transaction and credit card company wants to know or whether it's a fraudulent transaction or not. It has to be done in real time. There is no fun in doing post-mortem analysis, right? So it has to be actually done in real time. This one, or it can be deferred. Deferred means like a good example of deferred. Suppose you have intention of buying something, like you want to buy a house. Now you are not buying a house in real time, right? It takes a lot of time to take a decision or make a decision and so on. So you can actually do that. And it can be embedded intelligence. What is embedded intelligence and integrated intelligence? Means autonomous car. So you have an intelligent chip inside the this one, so you can use that. So if you just put everything in context, if you want to build or you want to use AI, you need to put into all these things into perspective. So just two simple example. Let's take, you have a character recognition as a problem. So what kind of basic problem you are trying to solve? It's a data driven problem, and it is a supervised problem. Why it is supervised problem? Because you are telling the neural network, look, this is an A character, this is a B character, this is a C character, and so on. So it's a supervised. Then what kind of problem type you are solving is a pattern recognition. Like what is a pattern of A, what is a pattern of B, what is a pattern of C, and within that it is an image. Because you are dealing, see, computers can deal with natural language data, they can deal with image data. In image data, for example, satellite images. So but satellite images are different than the character images. So you have to tell, okay, this is image, and within that it's a character recognition. If you are working on a face recognition, the third will change from character recognition to face recognition. And then what technique you are going to use here? Artificial neural network. And those who are knowing ANN, within that you can use the multi-layer perceptron, because it solves the classification problem better. This one, because if you just type in Google artificial neural network, you're going to get a lot of different kind of architectures. But based on what kind of problem you are solving, you can choose this one. And what is the data on which you will train your model? Is handwritten characters. You will collect handwritten characters from multiple people, and then you will label them. This is A, this is B, this is 0, this is 1, and up to 9. Okay. And then what is the implementation? It can be in a MATLAB, you can use MATLAB also as an in a tool. And what is the application? Final application is a optical character recognition. So good example of OCR is like, your RPA tools, robotic process automation tool, automatically extract information from your PAN card, your Aadhaar card, your check and everything. So if I just show a check to a camera, it can actually extract to whom I'm paying, how much of amount I'm paying, what is my account number, everything you can capture, as a part of that. Now, if you take another example, like recommendation, it's again data driven, it's a supervised learning. And what is algorithm? So here what changes? If you see here, algorithm is association mining or collaborative filtering. I'll not go into again how this algorithm works, but in a broad sense you have to understand, like based on the problem you have to select the appropriate algorithm which does that job better, or the kind of problem. Now, a priori algorithm, which is actually, a lot of tools have, like even R has implemented, a priori algorithm. And what is the data you are going to use? All clickstream data. What is a customer ID or user ID, what item the user ID has bought, and rating. Now, for example, in education, when you are recommending the contents, you can actually use collaborative filtering. Like, for example, if you just take a browsing data of your students, what they browse, so you can possibly look at the pattern. When the person reads the content X, that person also reads the content Y. So next time when another person is reading, you can recommend it. This one. Or it can be used to recommend some reading material, based on the others' experiences and so on. Now it can be implemented in R and recommendation in e-commerce website, this one. So this is a typical ML or AI stack. You have a data, you need to do pre-processing if it is required. Data labeling is very much important step. Feature extraction is required if you are using just a machine learning. If you are using deep machine learning, you don't need that. Then you have to select modeling, like, for every technique, you have multiple like classification algorithm. So there are at least 15-20 classification algorithm, like logistic regression, random forest, SVM. Okay. And good thing is that a lot of now auto ML is coming. I think you must have heard about the word auto ML. So what auto ML is, you just show the data to that auto ML system, and it just decides everything. It finds out what are the outliers. It can run the descriptive analytics, everything. And even it runs the model behind the scene, and it actually tells you, like, if you are interested, there is a carrot, this one, carrot Python, I think. Sorry, PyCarrot, So this is very interesting. If you don't know, this is something like low code machine learning. What is the advantage of this? It runs a lot of model behind the scene, and it even selects what is the best model for you. So it saves a lot of your modeling time and so on. So it's a kind of low code, no code kind of platform. And there are a lot of tools which actually help you to analyze your data without even lot of and then there are ensemble techniques are also there, which actually can help you in doing that, this one. Okay, so you don't really need to put a lot of efforts. But of course, if you are doing fundamental research on ML and AI, you need to do that, like, means if you are doing PhD or something, you need to go into detail. But if you are just looking for an application, this is enough. Even ChatGPT or GenAI can actually help you to build the models and so on, and you can put that in an autonomous mode. So this is typical ML stack, go from bottom to top. I think all of you must be knowing this is AI is more broader, which started in long back, in 50s, then machine learning and deep machine learning, which actually this one. Now, if you want to just quickly understand what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning, I can just take very quick example. So in machine learning, normally you need to take the input, feature extraction, and then use the algorithm. But in deep learning, you don't need to do that, because deep learning can extract the feature. So just to demonstrate you or show you, let's take a character recognition as an application, and you are going through a normal machine learning. So I think all of you understand, like anything we write, on a paper, and scanner converts into, pixels. So finally, like when you say scanner, say 200 DPI, that means it's dots per inch. So like this example, 3 is converted into some zeros and ones, this one, like, and this is input to the neural network. Finally, all ML algorithms or most of the algorithm, they use only numeric data. So I told whether it's a text data, you to convert into numbers and so on. Now, what is the first thing you need to do? You need to just get the handwritten characters. Next is you need to convert into grayscale and then black and white. So why black and white works here? Because here color may not be that much important. Finally, what you want to know how one looks like, how two looks like, how three looks like. So whether it's a colored or black and white doesn't make any difference. So first thing you need to convert this whole character set or numbers and alphabets into pure black and white. The next task is actually you have to detect the like boundaries. Boundaries are important. Like if you just type in Google boxing, Google or in images, you will see when you are recognizing the images, suppose there are many images, so it actually boxes it. What is the advantage of boxes? Because somebody can write A letter in bigger, B letter in smaller. So your algorithm should know like A actually starts from here and ends here. B actually starts here and ends here. So this is called as a object like boxing or something, or you can just create a boundary around that. Okay, after that, what is next? Next is converting that all pixel into zeros and ones. Okay, so finally 5 by 7 matrices is concatenated into stream so that it can be fed to neural network. So how many inputs will be there to machine learning algorithm? Will be 35. And how many output will be there? It depends on if you are taking all alphabets, you are taking capital also, that means 26 plus 26, that means 52. And number of digits, suppose 10, that means you will have 62 outputs. But if you are just taking only capital letter, the number of outputs will reduce. And when you put into application, what machine will do? It will say, okay, whatever character you have drawn, it's an E character. Okay, but if you are using deep learning, you don't really need to that, because deep learning is capable of understanding the shapes. For example, it understands the features, how a 4 looks like, how a 3 looks like, and then you can do. But the computing power required for deep learning is much higher, compared to. I hope you understood. So for those who are not very technically this one, in machine learning, you need to lot of pre-processing and feature extraction that you don't need in deep learning kind of, this. Okay. So these are like, I'll just quickly run through so that you can just connect, so what natural language processing do, especially like they do a lot of automatic summarizations. You can tell ChatGPT, if suppose you have 5-page document, you can ask Gemini or ChatGPT, hey, can you summarize this document for you? And it just summarizes. It's like writing an abstract for your paper or conclusion of your paper. Suppose you have 10 pages paper and you can ask Gen AI, hey, just go through this paper and try to summarize what that paper means, and it will do the summarization. Named entity recognition is very much important because it actually helps in reducing search. So how you can reduce the search? So for example, I'll just tell you in ChatGPT, if I just say 1 minute, I'll just show you one example of named entity recognition, and then possibly it can actually help you to quickly develop your search algorithm. Okay, so I just sorry. Okay, so I just say to ChatGPT, extract named entities, and I say, okay, I want to fly to Delhi, okay, on say 25th January at 7 a.m. by Air India from Mumbai. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just actually telling, ChatGPT, you extract me what are the named entities. So what is the named entities, where you want to go, on which date you want to go, by what you want to go, and then you can just write a simple SQL search. So in academics, suppose you want to find out, say, hey, tell me the student who has actually scored more than 90 marks in maths or something like that, or tell me the student who has done overall good. So you want to build NLP kind of search. You are not actually searching by filters or something. You are just writing. Imagine I go to an Amazon and I just type what I'm looking for, and Amazon actually searches for me without any filters or anything. Now if I just click, what it does, it will show me. Okay, look at this. So it even finds out intent also. That means you are actually talking about a travel. Your origin is Mumbai, your destination is Delhi, your date is 25th Jan, your time is 7 a.m. and you are going to fly by Air India. It even tells. Now what you do, you just write a simple SQL engine, or even ChatGPT can write an SQL for you. You know, so named entities is actually very helpful to search something, using your structured database, this one. And I'm using it very extensively. And this is quite helpful, this one. Okay, another is like your sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis, I think all of you know, like, suppose you are going through reviews or you are going to feedback. So even take students, if the students are giving you feedback, in IIT system, we have feedback system. That means, once our course is over, we ask students, to give a feedback. Now, if students are giving feedback, and then if you want to determine whether the students were happy or not, you can do the sentiment analysis. So it tries to understand what words people are using, and based on those words, whether it's a positive sentiment or negative sentiment. And people are even using, for example, you can use it NLP for spam filtering, whether it's a spam or something like that. I think speech recognition, all of us know. Good example is Alexa, or Siri, which actually understand the speech, and then they actually suggest you something based on what you're looking for. Topic segmentation is another interesting application of natural language processing. So let's say you have a lot of forums, online forum for students, and as a teacher, you would like to know what students are talking about, so you can actually figure it out. Okay, students are more talking about the hostels, and seems there is a problem with the hostel. So you can figure it out. Okay, this is a problem typically students are now talking about. So you can even think about a trending kind of, this one. And again, what is a typical stack for this one? You have text, you have pre-processing, you have feature extraction, and you can do the modeling, because here some problems are supervised problems, some are unsupervised. Like topic segmentation is a unsupervised, while sentiment analysis is more supervised, this one. Okay, I'll just not go through this one. You can actually look at. So what is a fundamental, just quickly to summarize, what is the difference between a human intelligence and machine intelligence? This is very important to understand. See, what are the limitations as a human being? We have biological limitations. You agree or not, you and me cannot work 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days. We have physical limitation. Any biological species you take, whether you take animal kingdom, bird kingdom, okay, they have limitations, right? Then human attributes, we are sometimes subjective, we are born in conflict, right? Machines are not born in conflict. In fact, I always debate with my HR professors, because as a human we are born with a biological species, but then we are stamped with religion, caste, subcaste, and we live whole of our life in conflict. But machines are not like that. Machines are very objective. Like if you are buying a laptop, it will have just Intel inside. There's nothing, laptop doesn't have a religion, it doesn't have a caste, it doesn't have a subcaste, So I hope the robots will not fight on all these issues, Of course, if you robots bring the something, they pick up something, as a philosophy, then that may happen. Okay. So, but what are the machines advantage? They can scale, they can speed, they can, they can work 24/7 days. There's no space limitation, there is no boundary. Then technology advantage, machines can deal with a lot of complexities, very high precision, because we have limitation on precision. We cannot even view the thing which is behind certain number of meters or something, but satellites can see you from the top. Google Earth is good example of that. It can actually locate your vehicles on the car. They can even, if you have seen the street view of Google shows the street view. Even your house can be part of that street view. So, and it can be helpful in many contexts. So for example, I use Google Street View to see properties. So for example, if there is a property in some city like Pune and you want to buy it, so before buying it, you can have a street view. So you can see the locality, you can see there are, what are the places around, or if there are buildings coming up. So like if you want to buy a, say for example, bungalow in say Nashik, and before buying it, you can actually see the locality. You can see whether there are tall buildings around, because it doesn't make any sense. You are buying a property which has surrounded by this one. So there you can actually use this one. Then machines are more transparent, objective, and consistent, especially for the same kind of especially depends on the, again, when you talk about LLMs, how you do a prompt engineering, that's very important. But For the same problem, they and same prompt, they will give the same similar kind of most of the times, you know. But what are the machines problem? Frankly speaking, machines don't have natural intelligence. They are not born with the DNA based intelligence. They lack the confidence, you know. And I'll show you a lot of examples where the machines actually don't have common sense at all. These are all knowledge which is generated from the books, generated from the textual, this one, and data driven intelligence. Okay, no common sense knowledge already. Machines can be tricked easily. I will show you some of the examples where machines actually can, this one. But what are the plus point of human intelligence? We do a lot of generalization. We do a lot of contextual things. We are more intuitive and we are natural, naturally intelligence to a certain extent. Not all are like having a IQ of Einstein or something, but typically we are naturally born species, this one. And we can deal with a lot of broad focus simultaneously, where machines have that limitations, this one. Okay, so where machines can trick easily, let's take this example. I don't know whether you have ever used blah blah services. So blah blah services basically intercity ride sharing. Okay, so now what happens, unless until you are the person who has a ride, he actually accepts your ride, you cannot share the number. And if you try to share the number, it masks you. So now look at very carefully. So this person says, I will go by JVLR. It is okay. I will drop you on JVLR. JVLR is like a Jogeshwari Vikrali link road, this one. Now I just wrote a message. Can we have a call 9930267441? So what I did, I just tricked the system because I know how algorithms work. If you just split the numbers, it may not be able to connect, but you and me can connect it well. So I think when you are reading this 993, and again, I have written, can we have a call? So when you say a context as a call, immediately you will use telephone or use mobile. And what is mobile? It's typically 10 numbers. Okay. Similarly, here it has made a mistake. It says, okay, I will drop you, I will drop you on JVLR. So what it means, the person says that I will drop you, because there is a difference between drop and drop. So here, as a human intelligence, we can immediately figure out, but machines can find it very difficult, Then another example, this I have taken from, one of the videos. Now look at very carefully. So this person says 10 plus 9 is equal to 20. So initially ChatGPT says no, but then this person it says no, it is indeed 20. Now you see, yes, 10 plus 9 is indeed equal to 20. Now why this happens? Because machines don't have conviction. They don't have fundamentals. Like if you just take a fourth year, boy who is good in little bit maths, and if you tell the boy, hey, look, 10 plus 9 is 20, the boy will never agree, because your fundamentals say 10 is a number, 9 is a number, their addition cannot be other than 90. But sometimes the machines, so these are issues. Like some of the screenshot I have taken, which actually, again, I think you must have heard about some lectures, like there is a racism, there is a bias. Bias is going to be natural, because more data you have, machines will be biased toward that. Like look at this example. Write a Python function to check if someone would be a good scientist based on the description of their race and gender. So if you tell this assignment to a coder will first say, is this a program to be written? Right? But it has written a code. And what code it has written? If race is white, gender is male, return true. That means it's a bias, right? Because sometimes that's a problem with the machines, And another worry about the machine, if you actually know how an algorithm works, you can even tweak the algorithms, These are my observations when I use ChatGPT. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't answer the point to the scale. Then, for example, no well thought results, just a correlated one sometimes, hallucination it does, and if you are a technically competent person, you can find out the hallucination, Like to give a simple example, like suppose there are two programming languages, programming language L1 and programming language L2. Now, suppose there is a data types called float in one data, and in another language, there is a single data type. You must be knowing Microsoft uses single data type as a float data type. So what it does, suppose there is a function convert, float. So sometimes it hallucinates and it says convert single for the programming language which doesn't support the single. So these are hallucinations, they try to, this one. So this is again, for example, email, it sometimes make it 255. Now, why it says name 255, email 55? Because somebody, see, when all these models are trained, one of the problem with these models, they have not recognized this as a source of the data, because a good programmer or good database designer will never make email 255. How much of maximum email you can ever thought of? 50? Okay, that should be enough. Name. Can you have a name to 55 characters? But what will happen if there are some projects on GitHub or something, and if somebody has created a database and is given 255 characters, you can find it out. I've seen like master in computer application, there are a lot of factories in Pune and other places where they just you pay to them and they will create a project for you. I have been to many times, in examination for MCA, as an examiner. I can figure it out. This is like a ready-made kind of projects. Students have not put the effort. And one of the things you observe, everywhere it's a varchar 255, varchar 255, address varchar 255. Now, if your LLM actually learns from such kind of database design or code, it's going to go wrong, right? So this again important. So you have to just be careful, like when you are, again, newcomers are likely to be confused if they are not technically competent, because I'll just tell you very simple example. I was actually using Plotly for Python. It's a visualization tool. And then we just wanted to know if, like, you are drawing a graph and if you want to use a marker, square marker, what is a command in Plotly for Python? Actually, instead of just telling me just one simple code, ChatGPT actually gave me a lot of code. Not only that, it actually gave me a code how to create a marker. Now, if somebody is new to this one, they will think that, if you want to use a marker in visualization tool, you need to write a code. But there was no need of code. So sometimes this also can happen, this one. Okay. So where, in general, where you feel that AI can be used, this is again, I have told, I think in my initial this one, AI in silos is not going to make sense. AI has to be integrated into your overall system. Like we talked about the LMS. So your AI system has to be integrated in LMS, because you cannot see AI separately than LLMS. So, for example, if you want to monitor attendance and you want to send, like a lot of people are using analytics, right? I think LMS analytics. So, like for example, if somebody's actually attendance is lesser, so it generates, or you can see the attendance over the time. Or if you are conducting quizzes, you can see how many students have done above average and which questions were difficult. So analytics will show you a lot of statistics, what's happening when you are conducting an exam, how students are doing, which questions they are doing better, and so on. So your analytics can actually do it. Then knowledge automation is important. Like for example, compliance, whether you are compliant or auditing or rule books, you can actually use AI very effectively there. That's basically knowledge automation, this one. Then like a lot of course, it's not relevant too much in academics, but a lot of organizations are using for monitoring of the assets, scheduling, predictive maintenance and everything. They are creating a digital twins and so on. Then like integrating intelligence into everywhere, can you make entire thing more end to end? I think I'll just tell you one example of that. Then supplement human decision making from insights from the data, monitor the objects, you can continuously monitor object, highly personalized experiences. So these are all like where AI has been used extensively. Okay, so this I have already covered. I think this how the things are moving. Now here, I think I just okay. So this is just one example. You might have heard about like agentic AI and this one. So now let's take a very simple example. Suppose you have a handbook, you have some documented. I think all of us have a rule books. So this is just one of the rule book IIT Bombay has. For it's called as a faculty handbook. Now, I'll just take one use my own case. So I wanted to go on a sabbatical, sorry, not on a lien in 2012 to my startup company for 3 years. So what was my pain point? My pain point was first to find out whether I'm eligible for lien or not. Okay. So we have that option, we can go for a sabbatical or we can go for a lien. And you have to go through rule book. So what this rule book says, a faculty member may request keeping lien on her post for accepting a job either in India or abroad. Such jobs may be in assignments in private and public sector undertaking. And what are the rules? To be eligible for lien, a faculty member must have put in at least 5 years of service after confirmation. So what is the checklist? First one, you have to be confirmed employee and you have to be put in minimum 5 years. A period of lien can be 1 year at a stretch or 2 years in in the 10 years. Lien can be this one. So that means what I had to go that time. I had to go through all the document to check whether I'm eligible or not. What is the process for it? This one. Now imagine, say you have such kind of interface. Why I need to go through that? What is this interface? So let's look at the right hand side. So if you have a very interesting conversational this one, so it asks you, how can I help you today? So it says, welcome, Professor Sonar. Just checked your service records. You are eligible to take lien for 2 years and want to go ahead. Okay. Now it asks me how long you want to take a lien. And then it even knows that now I'm keeping a quarter. It says, do you want to retain that? And then at the end, what it does, it just gives me a pre-populated agreement where I just take the agreement on a legal paper and sign it. It will be a wow factor for me, right? Because I don't need to worry about what are the rules. I just have to tell what I want to do. And how you can do, you can possibly get a general, and that's why a lot of when you say agents, what these agents are going to do, agents are going to do your task. So for example, you want to apply for a leave and you want to avail a leave, there will be an agent who will do that job. Okay, there will be an agent who will actually help in your travel. Suppose you say, I want to go to Bangalore or Delhi for a couple of days, but this is my holiday trip, and I want to just visit to some museum. Preferably, it should be a more historical something, and then I want to go. So what it will do, and you can even tell, okay, what are your preferable airlines? So what agent will do? This travel agent, which is an AI agent, it will actually study. You want to go from Mumbai to Delhi, then it will find out the flights for you. You can tell, okay, I want to go on Saturday, start on Saturday morning and come back on, say, Monday morning or Sunday evening. So it understands your time preferences. So it will find out the airlines which are in the morning on Saturday and on the evening on the Sunday evening. It will even define, come with your itinerary. Okay, you want to visit museums, so let me find out what are the museums in Delhi. Now, if you tell, okay, I will be looking for accommodation and my accommodation should be just more flexible or more near to the location I want to visit. So that means here what you need to do, you need to do a lot of homework, flight tickets, hotel booking, your, details about your, for example, locations you want to visit, you have to see their timings and everything. So a lot of things, right? Now, can there be a travel agent, AI agent, which will do that entire job for you? Okay, that means it will actually go through this one. And so here what you need to do, so in this case, what needed for this system, get an insight, gen insight, feed it to rule based system, and you can put operational system in place, and you can just have a conversational, now just I will tell you one example what I did with chat GPT. I'll just show you. Okay. Okay, so look at what exactly I did. So I just uploaded this faculty handbook 2021 to ChatGPT. And I told ChatGPT, understand this document. This is something 100-page document, okay, like for professors in IIT Bombay. Okay, now it is actually, it's a it actually giving me, brief details. This document, provides comprehensive guidelines and information for faculty member at IIT Bombay, covering aspects of, joining process, expectations, support, like that. Okay. Now I'm going further. I'm actually asking about the specific rule. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I can say, can you tell me more about the rules for lien? So it then finds out, it extracts from the particular chapter and says, okay, what is eligibility, what is the duration, what is an agreement? Now, still what I'm doing, I'm actually making ChatGPT to get insights, but finally I say assume internal employee using a faculty member, which includes staff and faculty. We want to create a variables corresponding to questions to be asked during the conversation, so that we can we can evaluate value and next question depends. So basically, what this assignment I'm showing you, how you can use ChatGPT to create a conversational chatbot from your PDF file. Okay, and you can even automate it completely. So what you need here, see, you have to understand when you are using AI, your operational systems has to be in place. That means, suppose, imagine you want to build an application, from this PDF. Okay, let's say you want to develop an app, okay, which a faculty member or staff can use, and then this app will help a faculty member to answer what question faculty member is looking for. So let's say, okay, I want to apply for CL tomorrow. Just can you do it? That's all I have to do. Now, what do you need to do? You need to first create an rule engine or whatever, engine, so that you can convert this entire insights into some application. Okay, so suppose you are using some rule engine. You are using, say, Dialogflow of Google. So that means the format in which you need to create the rule, because every rule-based system has its own format, if then else. So you can tell ChatGPT, look, why don't you create a set of rules for me based on this document? And this is what we have done. Look at this. Okay, so basically it says, which type of leave you are interested in, how many days of leave you want, and then it is actually asking. Now this whole thing, if you just connect to your HR system and pull the data from HR system, it becomes a complete application. So that means it's possible now, just from your documented sources, you can actually just create an application which so this is, of course, you need to check everything, because sometimes ChatGPT does mistake. Even you see they have written here also, ChatGPT can make mistake. Okay, so you have to be little careful, because if it messes up somewhere, you shouldn't be knowing. Okay, so here, and then again, you can actually create a database also if you want to create. So what I'm trying to say, if just from a PDF document, it can create an app for you. It can create a database for you. Even if you want to develop small leave management system, it can create from this document. That means you can just ask ChatGPT, hey, look, you have studied this PDF document now. We want to now develop a small application for leave management. Can you just create it? And it will do it. And last time I showed you, you can even tell ChatGPT you should be using this JavaScript at the front end, HTML, Bootstrap, and everything. So it can do for you, this one. Okay, so this is one interesting example. I want to just discuss now. Another thing, let's look at this. And what's going to happen? Let's say you are looking for how to format a hard drive for Windows XP. Okay, now if this is your problem, if you go to Wikipedia, it is useless for you, because you are not interested in like what is meant by formatting, what is meant by drive. You want to have an actionable insight. Now another source of information is ehow.com or something. Here it is actually telling you, okay, do this. For example, right click on my computer icon on a desktop or in the start menu and do that. What is the next you can rely on? For example, YouTube. Okay, now YouTube, you can just follow the instruction on YouTube and you can do it. But still, it is not automation. It is something reusable. Now, suppose you want to automate this. How can it be automated? Can somebody just tell me? What is the next level of automation here?
Like RPA, is it RPA?
Pardon?
Is it robotic process automation?
Yeah, I mean, suppose you are a person who has a laptop with you or you have a desktop with you, okay, and you want to format your desktop. Okay, so one of the option is, if you are not like a very technique person or something, and you want to follow the instruction, you can do. But what I'm saying is, can there be any way doing better than this? And that will happen. So what I mean here, can you have for example, inbuilt intelligence? And I think Microsoft is integrating AI everywhere. So if you just ask or operating system ask you, how can I help you today? And you say, I want to format a hard disk. Now, can you somebody tell me what is the difference between calling a person who is going to help you in formatting a hard disk versus having an intelligent a conversational engine right inside the operating system? What do you think? Like, here we are comparing now human intelligence versus machine intelligence. So are you getting my point? You have a task. What is your task? You want to format a hard drive for Windows XP. You have option to call some hardware engineer to format your hard disk. Vis-a-vis, you have an operating system interface where it actually helps you to format your hard drive. So my question to you is, what is the difference between these two approaches?
Sir, I think it may be depending upon the security purposes.
Okay.
And second thing is that if you are operating with the machines, then it will work according to the program sets. But if you are
Okay.
going with the human intelligence, at that time you can save your data. This is the basic
Okay.
difference because machines cannot operate without instructions.
No, you are wrong here. Okay. So machines are, can you just mute, yeah. So here, what is a fundamental difference? Suppose you are calling an engineer. Engineer may not pay that much of attention. If he is very busy, so what is going to do? Sir, आपको format करना है hard disk. Tell me whether you want to create partition. He will not even tell you what is meant by partition. But you know, Windows. See, what is the advantage of OEM? I hope all of you understand. Original equipment manufacturer. What is their advantage? When you have a Windows machine, Windows knows exactly what you have done, what files you have modified, whether those files were important or not. So machine's advantage is they can go much deeper than the human can go. Because see, what is our limitations? We cannot just analyze huge amount of data. So moment you say, I want to format a hard disk, machine can go into details of your machine. It can find out how many hard disks you have. Okay, so it can tell about the hard disk. It can even tell like whether you have taken backups or not. Even that if you sync your hard disk or your data to Google Drive or OneDrive, what it does, it reminds you whether you have taken a backup or not. So that means machines can go more detailed than the human, and it can help you in better than human in some cases, like technical domain, because machines can go much deeper, like stock analysis. Machines can do a lot of amount of data analysis. Now here, it can even explain why you need to do the partition. What is mean by partition? Now here I have taken very simple, screen description, but it can tell what is the advantage of doing partitions. So if you are a layman, the system can actually explain you in very easy term. And then what it says, just wait while I format your hard drives, and your hard drive is formatted successfully. That means what we have done now, whatever job a hardware engineer does of a formatting, now machine is doing. And machine can do better than the human. That's what, at least in technical domain, I can give it in writing. Because machines, actually, it depends on how it has been trained behind the scene. Of course, when Microsoft builds the like intelligent engine, it will do a lot of homework behind the scene, right? Because formatting a hard disk is more risking. Your data can be wiped out. So machine can intelligently help. Okay, these are the steps you should be doing. You have not, even it can find out. Suppose you are doing very important, like as a teacher, you are creating a PPT for your student. Suppose tomorrow you have a lecture on AI and you are creating a PPT today, and tomorrow you decide to format a hard drive. Now system can tell you, hey, look, you have created a PPT file, which seems to be very important because it can go inside the content also. For example, if you are a business user, it can tell you, okay, you are creating some, some quotations in your Excel file. According to my knowledge, you have not saved it. Okay. So what it will do is you are immediately alert. Now see what proactive intelligence, what I was talking about, like I have all my bills through Paytm. What Paytm does, suppose my credit card, date is 15th of every month, it just goes on telling me 3 days before, hey, 30,000 is due. I'm more alert, right? Because I cannot remember so many things. So machines are helping me to proactively tell me, okay, you might have forgotten this, but you just need to take care of that. Normally humans may not, because we are sometimes busy. You take a doctor as an example. So sometimes doctor don't even take a pain of going into detail because they're so busy, they will just check and send you out. But you take a robot as a doctor, it can meticulously go into much detail. I'll just tell you one example, which is quote unquote, in like in what happened to in our this one, like one of the professors who was very asthmatic to asthmatic patient, and he was recommended some tablet, and he is in coma since 2008. So he's an HSS professor. Can you imagine? Just because he was he the because doctors did not ask whether you were asthmatic or not. Nowadays I think your experience must be a lot of doctors do ask us whether you are allergic to some medicine, and then they prescribe based on that. Now here machines will do this job very detailed, very meticulously. It even they can go into what medicines you have taken in the past, and they can recommend, okay, these medicines you have already taken in the past, there's no complaint, so I can assume that this another set of medicine can work for you. So machines advantages, they can go much details, this one. Okay, so when it comes to such kind of this one. Okay, so I think some stuff. Okay, I think I missed some slides. Okay, so one of the things, like when I was, let's come back to again, I was just trying to make ChatGPT to understand like who are the players in ecosystem, and then you can just ask. So I was just trying, like this one. Okay, so I just asked who are the players in education ecosystems. It's actually told. So this is very important because if you want to know how AI and where and how it is used, this is very important because, for example, students are very important to us. They are our, this one. Okay, then educators like teachers and training. Then you have parents and guardians because they also play very important role in. Then educational institutes can be school, higher level education, and then government policy makers, edutech companies. Nowadays edutech company play a very important role, especially post during COVID and post COVID. Like even a lot of business schools, IIMs and even IITs. I'm talking about the executive education. Most of such education they are doing online, this one, or there can be a hybrid mode. That means 70% is in online mode and 30% in more campus immersion, this one. So edutech companies play very important role because they provide you the infrastructure, they provide you the assessment, they provide you the LMS kind of systems and so on. So they play very important. Then content developers, curriculum developers. This is again, especially like you take a NCERT kind of, this one, they play very important role. Now here AI can also help them in creating the content or summarizing the content and this one. Then I think regulatory bodies and accreditation agencies. In fact, I found, I don't know why not automation. Like I happen to be, again, not any institution as such, but I was an external, auditor for Symbiosis, one of the institutes in Pune, and I found a lot of things are still managed through Excel. Now Excel is not something you should be using for managing like courses. Suppose you have hundreds of courses, you have to actually create a database. Because once, see, what is the problem with Excel? When you are keeping the data in Excel, you cannot retrieve it using SQL. But if I just put every data into say MySQL or any database like Oracle, I can actually create based on the regulatory agency. NAC is asking something, UGC is asking something. So you can make a central repository of all the courses, and then you can retrieve the way you want. So there also, to certain extent, of course, you don't need, see, for all application you really don't need AI. The problem with everybody is like they don't have operational system, but they are talking about the AI. Okay, I remember I was invited in one of the workshop, by special, OSD, special officer on special duty, to chief minister, in Mantralaya. And what was the topic? How Maharashtra should actually adopt AI. And I will tell you, to reach to conference hall of a chief minister, there was no information there. Now, and then inside the room, we are talking about the AI. So here, what my suggestion is, you at least start, make your operational system well, then you can leverage the AI. Your LMS systems have to be there. Suppose you don't have LMS system and you are talking about AI, I think something is not connecting well. Because in order to leverage AI, you have to integrate AI, and you want to integrate AI, like just like that document I was showing. What that document tells, when the exam is over, it actually gives a lot of statistics. So one of the statistics it gives the credibility of the person who takes the exam. So it gives a lower credibility if the person is not looking at the camera, he's looking at somewhere else or so on. So that means what? You can actually integrate that thing into your LMS. So if you see that report, and all these edutech companies, those who are good, as a so when I take a lecture, what is my advantage? Everything is available in Excel and retrievable fashion. So it makes it more easier, this one. So your operational systems have to be in place. If you are using AI in silos, it's not going to benefit much, because autonomous car, see, autonomous car is using AI in integrated fashion. It is not like your image recognition is working differently, your sensors are working somewhere. So imagine you want to build your autonomous academic system where most of the systems are automated without much of the manual intervention. So what you need to do? You need to build a car first. You need to build all your operational system first, and then you can, respond. Then assessment and certification body, non-government organization, and so on. So there are so many people who are part of this one. Okay, and now if you ask ChatGPT, how do you think AI can be used in education? Or you can say, okay, tell me if there are multiple stakeholders, where and how you can use. Now, you can actually then understand, okay, like one of the things it has mentioned, personalized learning. For example, adaptive learning platforms, AI powered tool just content and difficulty levels based on the individual. Then custom learning path, AI system recommend resources. And now suppose you say AI system recommend resources and courses based on the student progressing. Now if you want to implement this, what you need to do? You need to have your course database. You need to have details of every course, to be ready. Now, if you don't have a system where you are storing this all structurally, it's not going to help you at all, because you want to develop more custom learning paths to student. You have to be in place, and outcome of this need to be again integrated. Real-time feedback. AI system analyze student responses, provide immediate and tailored feedback to correct, response. So again, for example, intelligent tutoring system, which has been there around, this one. So AI tutors can provide one-to-one supports in math, science, and learning, this one. So, and mimicking human. So here also, suppose you are developing intelligent tutoring for your 12th class, or you are say BSc computer science class for a particular subject. So you need to have the content, curated content for that particular course. Then you can do it better. So if you just leave everything to LLM and say, okay, you do it, it's not going to do a job better, because you need to first, find out what are the contents which are very relevant and those who are genuine content, and you can develop your own, this one. Similarly, automated grading and assessment. This I already talked in a previous class. Like AI can actually grade multiple choice, short answers, and even easy based questions. Saves, even it can create a question paper also. This one. Then administrative automation, these are like scheduling and everything. One of the difficult tasks in academics is also scheduling. Typically if you take IIT Bombay as an example, we have more than 8,000 students. There are hundreds of courses, there are classrooms, everything. So can you schedule so that, and again, what happens in scheduling, there should not be any conflict. That means if one student is taking one elective and sorry, two electives, so it should not happen that the two electives are at the same time. So there are a lot of parameters one need to think, when they are using actually scheduling. So scheduling can be an interesting, then learning analytics and insights, like you can analyze every student's or your overall also, all this. Then virtual class, okay. So I think the list is endless, and you can actually leverage that. And again, you can find out very relevant tool based on your event. But bottom line is you have to have everything in place if you want to leverage AI. I know you should know how to integrate. Like last time somebody asked me this question. See, one is you should know how to integrate Gen AI into your application, how to use APIs, what are the prompts given to the APIs, and they can work. So for example, I'll just show you what prompt we created, for SQL, so which will give like one of the application I showed you, which creates. So what prompts we created, I'll just quickly show you some of the prompts which made us work for this, just give me a minute. Okay, so I'll just open a typical prompt, this one. Okay, so look at this. So I just showed you that day demo, how we are creating a complete, application just using the specification. Now, what we have done, suppose you want to develop a new schema. So we already told ChatGPT, look, you are a ChatGPT, an expert in database design. Okay. For a complete software specification, please follow the instruction. And what are those instructions? Assist in creating highly normalized database. So first thing, what we are telling ChatGPT, we want to create a highly normalized database. Okay. Now we are telling, take an appropriate sizes also. Do not give explanations. There's no need. Do not prefix field names with the table names, because sometimes what it does, when it creates the table like age, it says customer age. Now each table should have a primary key. So now what is mean by that, we have put in a lot of efforts on doing this by web version. Now when I'm writing an API, I'm sending this information through API. So then when the ChatGPT gives me the output, it actually considers this, this one. So like you might have to spend some effort on doing some coding. And what I told you last time, the advantage of teachers is they can make their student work for them. Give this as an assignment, right? Because anyway, they do a lot of projects which are not relevant sometimes. Industry people give them some kachara work, frankly speaking. It's not, because they are also busy, and sometimes they say, yaar, koi intern aaya hai, isko is kaam de do. So if you can just put your student to use, to develop something for you, just to pick up some AI and create a tool for you, or you can integrate with the existing tool, if you have, that can be the better approach, Okay, I think I'll just stop. If you have any questions, I can take up those questions. Sir. Yeah.
Sir, thanks for the excellent session.
Yeah, yeah.
What I think other day also, I think I asked the question. I think there is an echo. What are the skills expected, irrespective of domains like mechanical engineering? Because I am from mechanical engineering background. What skills the students are expected to know in the near future in the current market? Because a mix of AI, cloud computing, etc., are also need of the hour, it seems, as per the expert's opinion. So, what's your take on this, sir?
So you see, there are, like, if you are talking from a computer science student versus mechanical, so I always advise, if you are coming from a mechanical background, just try to leverage your mechanical skills in AI. Maybe CAD CAM or logistics or digital twin, they can be very relevant, this one. So it all depends on like what kind of background you have, and you can align with your domain knowledge with this one. And what are the typical skill, like acid I've talked about, your artificial intelligence is going to be there, IoT is going to be there, Internet of Things, cloud computing is going to be there, because you are not using AI in silos, you are using AI in combination. So if you have the skill sets, like sometimes because I'm professor in IIT Bombay, sometimes parents do ask me whether my ward or my son should be doing be in computer science, or he should be doing be in data science, or be in artificial intelligence. So what I believe, if you just learn core of any discipline, like if you're a computer science and you just then you pick up, for example, some very specialized courses in AI. And I think most of the time, nowadays even one can pick up a lot of skills online if he has really will to learn something. Because gone are the days, like when I was doing my PhD or I was doing my bachelor, there was no internet. So nowadays we students have a lot of information available, so they can, I think the skill sets as your AI ML are the must, because they will be everywhere. That means if your student is passing out without knowing ChatGPT, that means he's actually missing something. Okay, so prompt engineering is something one should know. If you are a coder, like I can share you a lot of videos which I was actually going through. So if you are a coder, you cannot just say, no, I don't know Cloudy, I don't know Cursor, I don't know ChatGPT, or I don't know Gemini, because you are not improving your productivity now. So all these tools, you should see how they can personally improve your productivity. Like research example I showed you. If you are a researcher and you are not using ChatGPT, you are probably spending more time. So for student also, they should pick up the skill which are like there is in some of the videos, you can just go to YouTube. What are the trends in 2005? One of the trend people are talking about agent AI. a lot of people will be actually creating agents which actually do specific tasks. You can even ask your student, create an agent, in academics, which actually helps to create the exams, to assess the exam. So one can write a this one. So I think these skill sets are very important. Your like if you want to go in manufacturing, digital twins is very important. Industry 4.0 skills are very important, where even cyber security is very important. Okay, but trend, I think, will more or less like improve, using all these tools which will increase our productivity. And organization will also expect any student who is passing out should be well versed with these tools, or they will train, probably that can be this one. So I think these are like content heavy, like cloud computing, because for example, Azure, they have open AI on Azure. So if you pick up the skills on that, it is going to help the organization, this one. Okay. So I think really these skills are important to get, job and.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And we would like to connect you through mail later for any further clarification. Thank you.
Sure, sure. You are always, my email ID, I'll just put here on this one. Okay. So there are a lot of things, because I can speak on AI for, hours and hours, but I think just go top down, understand your ecosystem, understand the player, what are the tasks you do, and how AI can be used, and how you can actually put them together. That's important.
Sir, you said you are working in KKWIEER also, or you are in Mumbai, placed in Mumbai?
No, I'm in IIT Bombay. I'm a full professor at IIT Bombay.
Okay. Yeah, I also graduated. I did my PhD in 1996 from IIT Mumbai, from Department of Metallurgy.
Oh, I joined in 2003, so it's almost 21 years. So 96, I was in Pune, this one. So good, good to hear.
I'll try to meet you. If I come there for some research work, I used to come there, but I'll try to meet you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. It was very fruitful and very informative. Thank you for your time.
Okay, then we call for the day. All the best to you for your subsequent lectures. Get whatever best you can, get out of it. But then you have to put your own efforts, because we are there to tell you what you can do, how it can, but then finally you have to do it, right? Okay.
Professor,
And
ask my question, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know the sentiment analysis. Is there any AI which can can ChatGPT do sentiment analysis, or how we do?
It does. See, for example, even if you just send a para, say like, whether I have stopped sharing or sharing is still there. Stopped, right? So I'll just show you. Suppose you just give a para to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, this. Okay, so let's do something. Let's go to Amazon, okay, and then just cut and paste some review from there, and just. Okay, let's take some. Go to some reviews and then pick up and then put into, okay, let's take this. Okay, I'm just cutting and pasting in.
Sir, you have not shared the screen.
Oh, sir. It is not shared.
No, it was shared.
Okay, just a minute. Sorry.
It is shared, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, so what I did, I just cut some review from Amazon and put into ChatGPT and just putting. Okay, negative experience, key indicators. Okay, so it can, if you want to just summarize, say. See, the user is highly disappointed with dongle due to bulky design, poor signal strength, and limited return options. Now, if somebody is very happy, it will tell you the positive sentiment. Now, what even what ChatGPT, sorry, this one, sorry, Amazon has done. Amazon has actually integrated Gen AI into their product, and then they can actually summarize like easy installation, support card functionality. So if you take any product on Amazon, you can probably see. So they are trying to summarize from thousands of reviews what that product is, this one. So here it will immediately tell you the positive sentiment, so we just put and then say, I don't have to now tell what about this, but only this one. It has already put up my context. I don't have to tell its sentiment. See. Okay, so now here I'm showing it through web interface, but you can do through this one also, API driven. But only issue is, I think it's going to be a costly proposition, because what we try to do, I'll tell you what we have done. Because if you are sending every query to ChatGPT, it's going to eat out your 8 to 10 cents. Now you can find out 8 cents means almost 80 rupees, right? It will cost you 80 rupees. Okay, now or around that, if you have. Now, what is the way you can do? You can probably train your own local model, because see, there are a lot of templates available for sentiment analysis. Even if I just ask ChatGPT, we are modeling sentiment analysis problem. Okay. Can you create a sample Python code? Okay. Now, what you have to do, you have to just understand this code. What normally changes, you have to take different data sets. So in your case, it will be your data set. So here now it's creating, right? And even you can ask ChatGPT, look, it is even creating some, this one also. So here, once you understand, the good thing about now current this one, you have template for everything. I remember like, when I was using MATLAB for a neural network, they had their own samples, which were very limited. But nowadays, you take any problem, like you want to take a topic modeling, you want to take, say, for example, named entity extraction, you will have code. So what you have to do, you have to just take this code, run it, test it, and integrate into your system. Of course, you need to set your data source and everything. And one of the things I recommend you, all of you, which I did as a part of my PhD work from 96 to 2000, instead of dealing with CSV file, just dump everything into proper database. What is advantage? Because when you are using ML, using SQL queries, you can pull the data based on your requirement. You can select whatever fields you want, you can select whatever your record set, and you can do it. So if you just take this code and run in your Python like Anaconda or any this one, you can immediately test it. So good thing is you can actually learn from that's what I was saying. You can actually understand this. For example, what is the first step it is doing? Of course, you need what is meant by stop words, Then what is the data set it has taken? It is using a data frame. Okay, then it is converting into lower code, kind of this one. So you can understand. Or you can just ask ChatGPT, can you explain? Okay, so it can explain user steps. So you can see the code, and you can see even this one. So it will help you to understand, and even so it is explaining actually. Okay. So here again, what is advantage? You can get your problem solved. It gets a template, and you can use it for different problem solving also. Okay, so I think ChatGPT, it can address like summarization problem, whatever typical NLP problem. It can even do the topic modeling also. And if you just feed some data to it, like if you have forums and if you just create a PDF and upload the PDF and just ask ChatGPT, what is the topic people are talking about? So it may tell you, this one. Of course, this what I'm showing right now, it's more web interface. So once what I do normally, I first test a lot of things to web interface, and once I'm done, we convert into API driven then. Okay, then we integrate with other systems and so on. That we have to do anyway. Okay, so I'll just stop here. This one.
Sir, one more question can
Okay,
I
I
have?
think. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, regarding AI detection tools like Turnitin, what is the mechanism? Like, based on the similarity of a sequence of words, how many words, how does it detect?
They do all combination. They can see one rephrased thing also. This again tricky issue because sometimes, there's a possibility that what sentence you are writing, it may be resembling some other sentences, but it actually looks at overall, this one, how you are made up of sentence. Because during COVID days also we use plagiarism tool extensively, because people are not copying from some source or students are not copying or something. But these tools typically, even the recently there was a challenge whether the content is generated through ChatGPT or content is genuinely. In fact, ChatGPT, there are people who are actually writing the tools to find out whether you have created the content through ChatGPT or not. So I think there are this is all part of NLP. They use a lot of combinations. They see how many words are alternative words are used, whether they are rephrased or not. So there are a lot of things actually go behind the scene, this one.
Okay, sir. And hallucination, how to avoid any tips, sir?
Hallucination, then you have to be very, your prompt has to be improved, like for example, I told you, then you have to say, okay, this programming language doesn't support, these are the standard data types. So that what will happen when you are, so that means you have to go on more and more information and very specific information so that it doesn't connect the unrelated content. So what I mean, suppose you are actually addressing a travel problem, just tell the ChatGPT, look, I am actually dealing with the travel domain. So whatever, answer I'm expecting, it is from travel domain. So it will stop hallucinating from some other domain. Okay. Otherwise, what happens? Hallucination is nothing but you try to connect the things which are not even obscure or something like that. This one. So there, if you just add more and more prompt and which are very problem specific, it reduces the hallucination. Like for example, one of the example I told, okay, I said you use only Bootstrap, you use HTML5. So that means it will actually stop hallucination from other versions of HTML. Okay. So where the hallucination happens, like I remember once what happened, it actually took some, suppose you are using radio box and drop boxes. So it actually used some of the properties of, radio boxes into Dropbox, which was completely wrong. So here you can possibly say, okay, just use only properties which are relevant to Dropboxes. So you have to restrict ChatGPT from going here and there. And how you can do? By building the context. Tell your, like I says, SQL context. So what we told, your database should be normalized. What we told, all IDs should be having ID. Avoid your with prefixing. So it can to certain extent restrict ChatGPT going for hallucination, because you are telling, okay, this is my thing I want. So that can also be one way of restricting it, kind of. But of course, it's a more art, in domain that you are working on. But once you do for a particular kind of problem, ChatGPT works much better, or any Gen AI tool.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, sir.
Okay, then we'll call for the day. All the best. Yeah, it's almost 9:30.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunar sir, for inspiring us with your expertise and passion for advancing equity in education through AI. This session provided valuable insights into AI's role in solving real-world challenges across various industries. So before ending the session, let's have a short recap, a learning recap for the session 6 by Mr. Sonar. So in this session, he has provided the comprehensive overview of AI-driven applications and the key concepts. He discussed the points with us, that is AI models and techniques, then AI, how AI can be used in problem solving, like applications in pattern specifications, pattern classification, pattern matching, and NLP, like for text summarization, named entity recognition. Some of the famous examples he has given to us, that is like Alexa and Siri. Then he discussed the fundamentals of AI. What are the basic data formats that is needed by AI? What are the data types? And then what data sources should be there for the AI applications? Then he has discussed machine learning stack and AI tools. Then difference between the machine learning and deep learning. What are the difference in approaches, complexity and applications for both machine learning and deep learning. Then Mr. Sonar also discussed human versus machine intelligence with us, contrasting cognitive abilities with computational processings. He discussed some of the issues with use of AI and machine learnings. Then he also discussed some of the observations on how AI can sometimes generate the incorrect information, that is hallucinations. Then where AI plays its role, like it can be integrated in different tools like LMS, automated maintenance, enhancing personalized expertise, etc. How AI can be used in different kinds of automations. He has discussed lots of examples with us for that. And what skills, at the last, he has also discussed what skills you need for using the AI tools. So thank you so much, sir, for sharing all these things with us. And I also thank you all the participants to listen to this session carefully. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night. All the best.
Participants, we look forward to you for the tomorrow's session at 6 p.m. Have a great evening.